Warning, the following podcast contains spoilers. So if you don't want to know that Mama Fratelli's head explodes from a basketball thrown by Buffy the Vampire Slayer with a robot chip in her brain, stop listening now.
The International House of Horror.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the International House of Horror podcast, a low-budget podcast for low-budget horror movies. As always, I'm your host, Rocco, aka the Mad Pancaker, and across from me is none other than Scary Perry.
Hello there.
How you doing over there, Scary Perry?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing all right. So, you ready to dive into this week's hotcakes?
Yes.
All right.
I like them hot.
That you do. And for those who are first time...
The nun. I forgot her name.
Oh, geez. Sister Margaret?
Yeah, from the New Year's...
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
New Year's... I'm really screwing up today.
That's all right. Yeah.
All right,
Go back and watch both or listen to both episodes. But for first-time listeners, Hotcakes is like our catch-all opening segment where we talk about random horror stuff that we've been watching or that we've picked up and other horror stuff that's going on in the news. So first we'll kick off with, we had another passing since our last recording. So I hope I'm pronouncing this first name right, but Rico Browning, or ICOU? Yeah, or ICOU Browning. Most notable, he's like a stuntman / actor. Most notable, he played the creature from the Black Lagoon in a lot of the underwater segments. So he passed away recently in between this recording and our previous recording. So kind of sad. Surprised that anybody from even way back around then. When was Creature filmed? Like the 30s or 40s? So, I mean, yeah, he could still be alive. But you figure a lot of those people from that era are getting way up there in years if they already haven't passed. So
I mean, time flies, man.
Yeah, so kind of sad. A classic... Another classic Universal horror monster has passed away. With that, we'll get on to some more upbeat news. So I got a pickup for this week, a board game. So this is the second set for Final Girl Season 2. So you still need the base box set to play the game. This is just all expansion. So if you don't have that, you can't actually use these. But I do have the first Season 1 plus the box set. And this one, we got 5 new scenarios plus a mini scenario. So in this one, the first one's called Into the Void, and that gives you... So each one comes with a monster / slasher / villain, and then a location. So this is the Aliens parody. So you have the Evomorph as the villain, and then the location is the USS Conrad spaceship. So the next one is Take on the Thing. It's called Panic at Station 2891. Starring the organism, as it says, and then the location is Station 2891, of course. So the next one is The Intruders, which is, I had to kind of look this one up, which I think I watched a video about this not too long ago. I think Movie Timelines did a brief mini timeline episode about it. So this one's a take on, did I say its name is The Intruders? I think I did. But this one's called The Intruders. It's based off The Strangers, and it takes place in Wingard Cottage is the location for this. Then the next one is Once Upon a Full Moon Entertainment logo, starring the Big Bad Wolf. So this is just like a werewolf tale. It takes place in the Storybook Woods. And then finally, the last one is Madness in the Dark, and it stars the Ratchet Lady and takes place in Wolf Asylum. I think this one's kind of like a throwback to like some of the Silent Hill series with like the stuff that takes place in the hospital, especially number 2, where you have the weird nurse villains. Because I know in this scenario, there's like drugs you can take, and like it can either help you or hurt you depending on the effects. So it kind of adds that psychological type, batshit crazy, not sure what you're going on, horror of the Silent Hill franchise. And then the mini expansion is, what's the official? Oh, Terror from the Grave vignette, as they call it, their mini expansion. So that one's a zombie one. So that one doesn't have its own location. These, you can all mix and match them, as I said in the first time I talked about Final Girl. You can mix and match the killer with different locations to give you replayability, and the little vignettes are designed to be played with any of the locations. So very cool, very fun game. I need to dive deep more into it, but I've been kind of saving off from playing it because I kind of want to get like set up an overhead camera and just record it and like do like a let's play and put it on YouTube and stuff. So I've been holding off from getting too deep into it because I kind of want to do like maybe like a running campaign of it. But it's pretty cool. So I'll throw it over to you, Perry, for some hotcakes. So what hotcakes you got this week?
All right, I saw a couple movies. We'll go with one first. I saw that Megan movie, or
Mathregan, as everybody likes to call it, because it's got the 3 instead of the E.
Oh, this movie. I saw it on the good old cock.
Oh, the good old cock. Do you like the cock, Perry?
I do like dick. I do like dick. All right, anyways.
Oh, the best running gag in any podcast.
This is like pretty much a typical killer doll movie. Some of the kills are okay. There's one with like a giant paper cutter unhinged from its base. There are definitely better killer doll movies out there, like obviously Chucky and Puppet Master, still dolls. I don't know.
Dolls. I love dolls. We'll have to talk about that movie sometime.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know why this has such high Rotten Tomato reviews.
I've heard that the trailer makes it look really silly with her dancing, but I heard it's not that silly.
No, it's not silly. It's just.
But I heard, that the dancing scene with her, that scene was really memed before it came out. Like people are like, "Oh, this is going to be silly and stupid," but it was actually a little more serious from what I've heard.
I wonder if the audience score is lower.
So I've heard,
it's a bit
decent
lower.
things about it. Like I've heard people like it better than the Child's Play remake. No, it's not as good as the Child's Play. Because I heard that's not very good to begin with.
When you have a legendary actor and voice actor, Mark Hamill to the voice.
Yeah, but I heard
you can't go wrong.
Isn't that strong?
It's as silly as this.
Well, I've heard people say that it's better than that. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it's fair.
I haven't seen either one, so I can't tell you.
It's fair, but I like the Child Play remake better.
It's fair. I mean, yeah, Mark Hamill's a good voice actor, so
I don't know.
I can see that.
It's just more like it just seemed like like a mundane, typical movie. I know they probably had an actress as Megan or whatever, because she's like supposed to be realistic AI. Okay, you did a good job there.
Yeah,
but like
I also heard it's PG, which that probably.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, which kind of hurts it a little bit because you don't have as gruesome violence in it. Not that, as we've talked about, you don't necessarily need gore for a horror movie to succeed or be great, but that kind of hurts because it limits you to what you can show.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't recommend them to watch it. No, I'd say go watch a Child's Play movie. But
I gotcha.
But anyways, overall, I gave it a 2 cannolis out of 5.
I gotcha. I understand.
Back to you, my friend.
All right, back to me. So I'll run through my pickups real quick, and I'll talk about each of them in succession. So recently, I remember, like I was talking before we start recording, on Joe Blow Horror Videos. I think that's the name of their channel. Or Joe Blow Horror Reviews. I think that's their YouTube channel.
Sound like you said Plo.
Okay.
Like, who's that?
They talked about this film called The Dentist, and I'd never really heard of it, but I watched her thing about it, talk about it. It was kind of interesting. So on a complete lark, I was at Walmart, and the good old Vestron Collector Series, they get those in sometimes. So I saw they had the Dentist collection containing The Dentist and The Dentist 2. I'm like, what the hell, I'll pick it up. I haven't watched it yet, but kind of looks cool. It's a 90s slasher involving a dentist who kind of goes off the deep end and starts killing people. I think it's because his wife is like cheating on him or something. I think because it's kind of sort of loosely based on a real story.
Just seeing something here. I believe the first one has a young Mark Ruffalo in it.
Oh, hold on. I gotta...
The Hulk.
Let me take this back from you because there is something important in here. I think...
Let me just double check that.
Is this the thing I was looking at?
I saw this on Tubi. I almost watched it, but I didn't do it.
Maybe it was
Should have pulled the trigger, man. Should have pulled the trigger.
Oh, here, hold on. Here, let me check out the people who are in these because somebody's name comes up again. Let me check here.
Was it 1996?
Yes, I believe it was 1996.
Yeah, he's in it. I don't know how long he's in it, but he's in it.
Hold on, give me a second. Okay, so the second one, the sequel, The Dentist 2, was edited by Christopher Roth, which is going to be a name we're going to mention here in a little bit. So it's got some connection to what we're talking about today.
There's always connections.
Yeah, that's the great thing about doing this is you find out, and you just throw down all these people, these editors and producers' names on, and you don't know who half of them are. But as you watch more stuff and you talk about more stuff, you find out, hey, this guy did this and this guy did that, which is kind of interesting to learn. Up next, got to pick up. I ordered some stuff from Scream Factory because they had another one that was going out of print sales. These two weren't going out of print, but I was adding stuff on to get the order to the free shipping. So we got the Phantom of the Paradise. He sold his soul for rock and roll. This is from the director, Brian De Palma, who, we know he did Carrie, he did Dress to Kill. Jessica Harper's in it. She's, in Suspirian shock treatment. It's got Garrett Graham. He was in Used Cars, I guess. He was in TerrorVision, which I have seen TerrorVision before. I don't remember who he plays in TerrorVision, but... And hold on, I have watches, so it's in my little notebook. Let me get my notebook here so I can reference that and give a brief
I wrote my notes.
When did I watch this?
Are you like Sting? Are you writing a message in a bottle? He's pulling out a message in a bottle.
I guess. All right, here it is. So Phantom of the Paradise, so it was 1974. I wrote Brian De Palma's 70s style version of Phantom of the Opera / Faust. It's got fantastic music and cinematography with bright, colorful set pieces. The music is by Paul Williams. It's also inspired by the picture of Dorian Gray. And it's got a really cool, great-looking Phantom costume as you look on here. It's got like this bird-like cow metal mask that he wears. It's a pretty cool movie. So
that looks cool.
It's got some cool transitions in it. Oh, yeah, you can check it out. So, like I said, it's notable for being the first feature film for Jessica Harper. I really liked it. It's got a good ending. It's got good acting all around. And overall, I gave it 4 pancakes. So
looks good.
It's a classic.
It does look good.
Oh, it's a very well-known one. This one's been on my radar for a while.
Look at that. Like,
as well as the next one.
It's like the knives on the end of that is guitars. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Musket guitars.
Yeah, so it's got some pretty cool scenes in there. A lot of different music. So this next one, like I said, has also been on my radar for a while. So it's of unknown origin. This one famously stars Peter Weller, RoboCop. It's also got... Who else is in this?
I'd buy that for $1.
I love that quote. That's a good quote. I didn't know Peter Weller was in Sons of Anarchy. That's interesting to know.
He's probably in a lot of stuff that we don't
So this is directed by George P. Cosmatos, who they said did Tombstone, which I know is kind of a big deal. I think that's
that was a good. The 90s. I think
the
90s Western.
The 90s Western, and he did Cobra. So
yeah,
I
haven't seen that one. I want to see
movie. I'll just go to my notes because I might have who else is in this in my notes. It's got somebody famous. I think it might be Shannon Tweed. So a giant rat terrorizes Peter Weller in his home. Weller gives a great performance as a man slowly driven insane and pushed too far. A simple but enjoyable premise executed well. A great psychological thriller. And it's got clever cuts between the rat and the puppet, because obviously, they weren't going to harm a real rat, but it's a lot of fun. It's, like I said, he goes kind of slowly crazy through it, and he, ends up destroying his house. Very fun film. I gave it 4 pancakes altogether. And who was his wife in this? It's somebody big name. Shannon Tweed, introducing Shannon Tweed.
Big name, big boobs.
Yeah. So.
Isn't that's...
Gene Simmons' wife, I believe so. Yes, that is correct. So.
I don't know. Did she do porn or was her sister?
I think she was a Playboy playmate for sure. Yeah. I don't know if she did any actual.
I know her
real
sister
porn.
does. I don't know. I used to watch the Family Jewels show. So old now.
So I got one more pickup to talk about. So this isn't horror related, but it's kind of horror adjacent.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I'm like, why is that on the table?
This was the movie I got that was going out of print. So I got the steelbook of Rock and Roll High School. But when you dive into this movie, so first off, it has PJ Souls. We know PJ Souls has done non-horror stuff before, but she's done Halloween. So, it's got Clint Howard. Clint Howard's been in everything. The Ice Cream Man, Ticks, a bunch of stuff. Evil Speak.
13.
It's got Dick Miller. Dick Miller, a staple of everything.
Do I like that Dick?
Yeah, you probably do.
I do like Dick.
I mean, who doesn't like Dick Miller? Dick Miller's great. It's got, why isn't his name listed in the people, or am I just not seeing it? Vince Van Patten.
Oh,
yeah. So
rest in peace. He passed away a few years ago.
Vince Van Patten?
Yeah.
No, the host of World Poker Tour. Or are you talking about his father?
No, it was the other guy. His other host.
Or am I thinking of Dick Van Dyke?
Oh man,
you're talking about the World Poker Tour, right?
Yeah,
Mike Sexton.
Mike Sexton.
Yes, Mike Sexton did pass away.
Yeah, Vince is still alive. Sorry.
Yeah, but Vince Van Patten did Hell Night with Linda Blair, so that's
the same guy. The same.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he was an actor first. You didn't know he was a big name actor first.
You learned something.
I mean, not like super big name, but
you learn something new every day.
Well, his dad was a big actor.
Okay.
So there's another connection there, like a horror connection. Executive producer Roger Corman, the king of B movies. Story by Alan Arkish. I forget what else he's done, and Joe Dante. Joe Dante, Gremlins, The Howling. Director of photography, Dean Cundy. Dean Cundy did the cinematography. I mean, he's done a bunch of stuff, of course, a bunch of great stuff, but so you got all these horror people connected to this. Oh, and the effects of this, there's this big rat costume. It's played by, and the effects for it are done by Rick Baker. Special effects extraordinaire Rick Baker. This cheesy.
You're gonna say Tom Savini.
This is really like a sex comedy, but it's like a teen comedy. And the reason I talk about it is because I've talked about my premise for an April Fool's Month sometime.
Oh, the
where
Ramones are in this movie.
Oh, yes, that's a big... This is a Ramones vehicle.
Okay.
That's the whole premise of the film. I talk about it only because, like I said, for April Fools, like doing like the April Fools joke where we list all these people. It's like, oh man, this horror movie's got to be great. And then we start talking about it and we realize it's not a horror movie. Because that's something I'd like to maybe do one day I got a couple of ideas for April Fool's month holiday, or April Fool's month fake horror stuff, like either mixed up titles, like movies that have two titles, and it's like, all right, we're going to review Madhouse, but, which Madhouse are we actually reviewing? Like, we think we're going to review one, but review the other. There's a lot of movies like that are, like, how, like, the title card says something different.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, Don't Go in the House, infamously, the title card says The Burning, which is a completely different horror movie, but they're both kind of cult classics. Stuff like that. And this is another one. You got all these horror adjacent people produced, directed by horror people, but it, just happens to be coincidence. Another big one I like to talk about is Spring Break, which is directed by Sean Cunningham, Friday the 13th, and has music by Harry Manfredini, who did the music for it. So you're just like, all right, this has to be like a Spring Break slasher, but no, it's some sex comedy, like college age sex comedy, kind of like Animal House. So
it looks fun.
So yeah, but I talk about it just because I want to hear like feedback about it. Like, is that something you want to do where we do the 1 month of April stuff? First, we got to get through all the April's related slasher things and like maybe Easter related horror movies. Get those out of the way, and then maybe that could be like a fun off the beaten path where we pretend we're reviewing a horror movie and, just review something else random. So let me know what your thoughts about that. So you got any more hotcakes, Perry? I'll bounce the ball back to your court.
I saw it was on Hulu. I saw the movie Shadow in the Cloud, and this has Chloe Grace Moretz. She's been in a lot of all kinds of movies. She was Hit Girl in Kick-Ass.
Okay.
And she's been in other stuff. She transcended into like a child actress and into a adult actress. She just keeps acting. So this movie is based in World War II, and they're flying out of New Zealand, and it's like basically just showing her kind of coming onto the runway and flagging down the ship. And then she says she has papers to get on the ship. She has important information. So she has a satchel that she always like keeps close to her. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of one of those movies. What do we call them? Stationary movies or whatever. Even though it's a flying.
Oh, it just takes place like in one room, essentially?
Almost. Not the whole film, but almost.
So it takes place like mostly on that plane?
Or one room or one place. Yeah. So it's a Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress.
Okay.
And like when they get there, you
mean it's a B-17 bomber?
Yes, sir. They get on there, they, at that time, how men treated women, so you're going to have that.
Yeah.
So they're like, why are you on a plane? And then like all these voices, or they show like all these people for a second. The only room for her is in the bottom Speary, which is the ball turret.
Okay.
So like basically it takes a while to get going. Like when she's down there, she eventually sees a gremlin. And no, this isn't Joe Dante's Gremlins. A gremlin. Because whenever there was in World War II a malfunction, in not just planes but other stuff, they would blame a gremlin on it.
Correct. That's where the term comes from in the movie. Dick Miller talks about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty famous. They did a couple cartoons about it, Looney Tunes, like
they actually
the Gremlins from the Kremlin, as like Hitler's trying to fly the bomber over there, and the Gremlins attack his plane. Actually,
at the start of the movie, they have an old cartoon that must have been from World War II time, just showing like a gremlin sabotaging like a plane or something.
Yeah. So it seems like a little Twilight Zone-y though, with like the gremlin on the wing from the Twilight Zone.
Because she like sees it, and then
everybody else thinks she's crazy, probably, right?
Well, yeah, because she's a woman and weird stuff. So, but like it looks really weird. The gremlin in the movie. It doesn't look bad. It's just weird. It looks like a bat mixed with like a monkey.
Okay.
But I mean, they'd obviously not gonna want a mogwai or whatever,
Well, yeah,
get sued. But it was all right. So then it starts, kind of like Twilight Zone, ripping in the engine, give me John Lithgow vibes,
Mm-hmm.
But
or Shatner.
And then
vibes.
she like tries to talk to him, and she's like, "Hey, there's a gremlin, or there's something on the wing." She tries to be subtle at first, not say what it is. And then she eventually tries to like come at her, and she has a gun, and they're like, "You have a gun?" And then they try to pull her out, and they get stuck, and she can't get out. So basically, it goes like that. I mean, she does well as an actress, even though it's just her like on a comm link or whatever headset talking to people most of the time, because you just hear a bunch of people's different voices. And when it's kind of cool though, when they first you first hear like a new voice, they show like somebody like walking in like darkness, like out into light, like just kind of cool like cinematography. Like so that's who's talking. Not every time they talk, but when they do it.
I gotcha.
And basically, you want me to spoil a little bit?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, spoil a little
There's
bit.
a spoiler warning at the beginning of this, so I don't know. Skip a few seconds ahead if you don't want to have this movie
I don't know how
spoiled.
important this movie is, but anyways, what's inside the bag is not really paper.
It's
a
like
baby.
The briefcase.
It's a baby.
Oh.
And it's just actually a baby with one guy on the plane, but they're trying. I forget why they had to keep it secret, and then but then it eventually ends. It ends with the standoff between Chloe and.
So is the baby not like important though?
It is, and
know what I mean. Like, it's not like I have to get this baby somewhere, or else everybody in the world's gonna die.
No,
it's more like a psychological, like, hey, I gotta get this baby. It's important. But it's really your baby, and I'm just kind of like your evil conscious type deal.
This just proves that she's not. She was in they had female air forces. She was, but it's not important information. It's just her trying to smuggle baby into, I forget wherever the hell they're going.
Oh, so it's an alive baby.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it might be like a dead baby, like she's some crazy, like, his guilty conscience, like, you killed the baby.
It's not even that scary.
This is a horror movie. Why are we talking about this movie?
In a few minutes, we might be talking about another movie that's not really scary. But anyways, so
is this even a horror movie?
Yes.
Did you just write down some? It
says action horror movie. So anyways,
okay.
So yeah, it's good acting, and then it ends with a showdown between her and the gremlin because they eventually crash a plane or whatever. And some people die, some people.
So live. Is there like a reason why the gremlin's here? Or is it just because gremlins screw with planes?
I think it's just because gremlin. It got a little bit boring.
The Nazis want that baby dead.
It's the Nazi gremlin.
Okay.
So anyways, is it worth rewatching? Yeah, I might have to rewatch it again. I gotta get something to get me to really pay attention to it. But yeah, I recommend maybe one watch of it. It's not the worst thing ever.
Okay.
But I give it 2.5. It can maybe go up. Hey, that's relatively low for my standards. But 2.5 can always. So I like Chloe Grace Moretz. She's also hot.
What year was this movie? Was this
made,
this year or last year?
2020.
Oh, okay, so it's a couple years old. All right, I guess I'll run through a couple hotcakes here real quick. So I don't think I talked about this one last time, Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge. Pretty sure I talked about that. But I don't think I'd watched the other ones, pickups from last time. So I'll run through some reviews of some pickups from last time. So first up, we got Girls Night Out, a.k.a. The Scaremaker.
What?
It's another slasher movie from the 80s. Killer in a college bear mascot kills co-eds. It takes a while to get going, but the party scenes are pretty fun and keep it interesting until the killing starts. It's got a great twist ending. It stars Hal Holbrook and his son David and other notable horror actors. Notably, I know the one... I always forget her character's name, and I don't remember her real name either. The one lady who plays the love interest in Friday the 13th Part 2 of the wheelchair-bound guy in Friday the 13th Part 2, which we may be talking about come October. Wink, wink. Overall, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. Just okay. I didn't particularly love it, but I gave it a pretty decent rating. It's more fun than it should be, I'll point that out. It's a little confusing just because there's way too many secondary characters and they all look kind of alike. There's some decent effects in this, towards the kills, because this bear, the guy who's in bear costume, he gets these claws and shoves them through the paw.
These claws.
He's got these knives that he's pushed through the glove of the bear mascot outfit to make impromptu bear claws that he just cuts people up with. It's pretty cool. So I gave it a 3.5 pancakes, so it's pretty interesting. Do you want me to rattle off a few more here? Do you have any
no, I'm
out of hotcakes?
All
right, so Psychos in Love. I'm not going to talk about this one, but it is in my
you're
book.
watching a lot of girl movies, man.
What? Psychos in Love. I did a review of it, short stack of it.
Have you been loving dick when you're watching these ones, huh?
No. What is wrong with you?
What is right with me?
You're ruining my bit here. I'm trying to plug the website, and you're ruining the bit here.
You don't have a bit.
So, Psychos in Love.
I'm sorry.
So we're not going to elaborate on it here, but I wrote a short stack for my blog about it for over Valentine's Day. I referenced it in the last episode, I think, but I'm talking about it here now. So check out my short stack of it to know if I'm a psycho in love with Psychos in Love. And the website is www.themattpancaker.com, so check it out. I try to write some blogs every once in a while to provide additional horror reviews. So next up was another pickup from last time. Lucio Fulci's The Black Cat from 1981. This was the Blu-ray from Arrow Video. So Patrick McGee, who we know from Tales from the Crypt, playing the blind man. His uncontrollable cat kills his enemies. It has Fulci's distinct style, and it's got some reasonable effects. It stars some notables, Al Cliver, Mimsy Farmer, who I last saw in Four Flies and Grey Velvet, and David Warbeck, who has starred in Oso and Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. I think this probably has the record for the most Fulci eye zoom / close-ups, which is a common trope of his, but I swear like every other scene is like a zoom-up or a close-up of eyes. It has some good atmosphere to it, creepy music. The score is by, I wrote this really tiny, so I hope I'm getting this name right, Pino Donaggio, who most notably did the score for the Brian De Palma fix we talked about a little bit earlier, Carrie and Dressed to Kill. I don't think it's like Fulci's best work, but like I enjoyed the atmosphere. It's a bit slow going, which isn't unusual for these types of films, but I gave it a 3.5 pancakes. However, I do have to revisit this one because I watched it kind of broken up in 3 parts over like a couple different nights spaced out. So when you do that, you kind of forget what's going on. Do I have to rewind this a little bit to remember what's going on? So next up, try and run through these a little quick. I've been on a Nightmare on Elm Street rewatch. So Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. I'm going to skip over the theme. I'm going to skip over my series ranking because I've been kind of ranking these films again as I've been going through because I don't want to take that away from when we talk about these down the road. So it introduces the great concept of the dream powers. It's got great effects and kills, and Freddy's character achieves his full potential in this. It begins the Dream Trilogy. Also, the ability to pull others into your dreams pops up in this. I love this film. This is always highly rated on people's Elm Street rankings for good reason. It's either people's number 1 or number 2. I know I wasn't going to talk about the ranking, but I won't talk about the rankings for the other ones. This is my second favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film. I gave it 5 pancakes covered in syrup. It's got a great ending and well worth your time. So next up, got another classic. So we got Deep Red, aka Profondo Rosso, Dario Argento's giallo masterpiece. So I watched for the first time because I got the Arrow 4K. I hadn't cracked it open to watch it yet. So I watched the original cut, which is like, it's over like 2 hours, I think. So it's first time watching the full Italian cut, but the extra content isn't really needed. And because it's extra content, there's no English dub to the extra content, which we've seen before. Sometimes they splice in stuff and they don't have the English audio, so they have to use the Italian audio. Well, this is another case. Either it was never done in post because that cut never made it to the American market, or nobody knows what happened to the dub. One of those two. But a lot of the content, it provides a little bit of some more involvement between why can't I think of the actor's name? But him and Daria Nicolodi, like it adds a little bit more to their romantic development involvement, but a lot of it really isn't needed. It's got an excellent score by Goblin, of course, and it's got amazing cinematography and visuals. I, of course, love this movie. It's my favorite giallo. It's got great acting. It's got awesome kills. So, of course, it gets 5 pancakes covered in syrup. We're going to skip the next entry because that might be the film we're talking about today. Hint, hint. I'm trying to run through these. There's a lot of movies in between the break here, so it took us a little while to get me finish my notes for this movie to get to recording, so bear with me.
2, what the hell?
I know. Hey, I've been watching a lot of stuff. So we got The Vineyard.
You are the beast.
I watched this on Tubi. Most notably, it stars James Hong, and he lures young people to his vineyard island to use in his rituals for immortality. It culminates in an attack by his resurrected victims as zombies. It's got fun effects and 80s cheese, but Hong is the only standout performance. So it's got some great makeup effects, though, for like the zombies and the killings and stuff. And notably, Hong co-directs this, which might just be why he has a sex scene in it.
Like, you know what? I feel like
a brief sex scene. It's like, I'm the director. I'm also starring this movie. You know what this movie needs? It needs me with a sex scene. That's what I'm going to do if I ever make a movie. I'm going to be like, I'm starring in this movie. I'm writing myself into a sex scene.
Is it going to be like the sex scene in The Room?
So, this, like I said, this one was just okay. Probably
where you're fucking the upper stomach.
Yeah, just like, I reference this movie all the time because of that scene. That stripper movie or the Vegas showgirl movie. I forget and I always screw up the name. It's either Striptease or something like that. I forget the name of it. It's got the bang in the stomach, yeah. So it's just okay. I gave it 3 pancakes just because James Hong's a great actor. He always hams it up. Good old Lopan.
Yeah, I thought that was Lopan. I'm like,
yeah,
I think that's Lopan.
So, like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street kicks. So we got Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. So this is part 2 of the Dream Trilogy. Freddy uses Alice to bring him new victims. It continues with fear-based themed kills that are great, so it takes advantage of, people's what they fear in real life and uses that to kill them. This is the MTV era Freddy, where it ups the humor, but in a good way. And it's got great effects by Screaming Mad George. It's got a pretty good ending with a great effect. Linnea Quigley makes a cameo in the ending, actually, if this is the one I remember. But it also has this weird, terrible ending. So it's like a great ending with the effects, but a terrible ending with like this Dream Master and the gates to the dream world. It's like really weird. It's not a very strong ending on how she defeats Freddy, but surprisingly, this one's pretty good. It really holds up for me. I gave it 5 pancakes. So next up, hey, we gotta wrap up that Dream trilogy. So Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. While I disliked the kid stuff in this with the little kid when I was younger, I've grown to appreciate this entry style and how well the concept is executed.
Did they give you nightmares?
No, not really. Freddy gets sillier and bitch becomes his catchphrase, but he's still great. Like I said, it's got great effects, sets, and themed kills. This one's kind of like always like lower on the list of people's favorites, and it's probably lower on mine, but to be fair, I love most of these movies. I really, really like them all, so they all end up with high ratings, even though I admit this is one of the weaker entries. But I've come to appreciate it over time, and I gave it 4.5 pancakes. Next up is Prom Night from 1980. Prom Night. Everything is all right.
I've seen the remake, not the original.
So this is one of the 2 1980 Canadian disco Jamie Lee Curtis slashers. It's got decent tension and atmosphere while creepy. It is a slow build with most of the action happening in the last 30 minutes, though. And while the characters are fun, Leslie Nielsen is notably in this film. He plays the principal dad of Jamie Lee Curtis, but he's wasted in his role. It's a role that, like, you could have gotten any regular actor to play. It's like a waste of... And I know he does serious roles, but even with a serious role like this, it's just like a waste of his talent. He can do better serious roles. Like, Creepshow comes to mind, like when he plays the in the third part, where he tortures Ted Danson. Like I said, it's just okay. I've been wanting to revisit this one because, like I said, this and Terror Train are always like compared since they're the same year. They got Jamie Lee Curtis. They both have a strong disco element to them. So I wanted to revisit it and give it a reappraisal. It's got a very good chase scene, though, in it, and a cool decapitation, but otherwise it's a little light on gore. I gave it 3.5 pancakes, though. It's still a solid movie, but I like Terror Train better than Prom Night. And I think that's everything.
There's some scary ones out there.
Yeah, right? So I think that's everything for that. So almost ready, but I want to talk about another pickup real quick. So my copy that I backed on, I think I backed it on Indiegogo, copy of In Search of Darkness Part 3, The Final Journey to 80s Horror, the 80s horror documentary. So this one covers a lot of some of your lesser known horror movies and horror sequels that don't get talked about as much. That's why it's The Final Journey. They reached out and asked us, like, hey, what's some cool movies that you know that we haven't talked about yet? It also came with a nice little box to put all 3 copies in. So, a little slip case for them all. It's got this cool button.
Oh, here's one movie, not the other ones.
What?
Here's one movie, not all 3 of them. Or did it come with all 3?
No. They come separate, but since this is the third one, they offered you to buy this so you could put your other 2 in there with it.
How nice of them.
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was a freebie or if it was
money grab.
I can't remember if it was a freebie or if it was you had to pay for it. It's been a while. I think it was a freebie. If I got this awesome lifetime member card, woo! It actually has a website and some codes to go.
It's mine now. I'm
so joking. It's got a checklist of all the films in it. So we're going to play a little game, Perry.
You think
I know we're running a little bit long on hotcakes, but I can edit it down. Oh, no, go ahead. Finish your thing real quick.
I can do it.
What were you going to ask?
I was just like, you think we could like take this to Hot Topic or something and get free merchandise?
Yeah, take it to the local video. Take it to the Red Box since that's the equivalent of the video store. It's like, I would like a free rental. I'm a lifetime member. It's like...
This does not compute.
Yeah. Red Box just starts spitting DVDs and Blu-rays at you like the soda can machine in Maximum Overdrive. Just hits you on the groin with them repeatedly.
Motherfucker.
So we're gonna play a little game here. So it's got the checklist.
Play a game.
It's got a checklist so you can check off which movies you've seen. So we're gonna play a game. We're gonna run through all the movies, and you're gonna guess if I've seen this movie or if I haven't seen this movie. And before we start,
what about me?
I want you to guess. Well, you can chime in if you've seen them too while we go along. I want you to make a prediction on which year. So it's divided into years, 1980 through 1989. What year do you...
Well, then I ain't seen shit.
Well, what year do you think I saw the most movies? Now, there's some...
So wait, 1989, 1983.
No, it's the 80s, the entire 80s, 1980 to 1989. But each year does have a different amount of films. So there are some years with more films than others.
I'm saying you know the most movies from 1986.
86?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what year did I watch the most percentage? Like the highest percentage? Like I watched all the movies that they talk about.
1987.
1987? All right. What year do you think I watched the least? And the least percentage. So the least number of movies and the least percentage.
1985.
1985? So for both answers. Or do you want to split it up and pick another year?
What do you mean?
Well, the least number of movies and then the lowest percentage. It could be the same, but it could be different.
This is getting too complicated for me.
All right, so let's run through this real quick. So in 1980, we have Death Ship. Did I see Death Ship or have I not seen Death Ship?
You've seen Death Ship.
I have not seen Death Ship.
I've not either. Okay.
So next up is The Children. Have I seen The Children?
You've seen The Children.
I have seen The Children. Next up is Prom Night.
Yeah.
Everything is all right.
I believe
Bit of a
you've seen
spoiler
Prom
there,
Night.
but yes, I have seen Prom Night. So next up we have He Knows You're Alone.
Yes.
I have not seen He Knows You're Alone. Fun fact, it's the first film starring Tom Hanks in a little minor role.
Oh, wow.
Without Warning.
Yes.
I have not seen Without Warning.
These don't even sound like horror movies.
The Boogeyman.
Yes.
No, I've
Really?
You just assume I haven't seen it. Jeez.
Have you seen Mr. Boogedy at least?
No.
The Disney one?
No, I have not.
Ah.
I don't think so. Maybe when I was a kid I forgot. So, and then last in 1980, of course, is the classic Christmas Evil.
I don't think you've seen
You know, I've seen it. We talked about it. Listen to our review of Christmas Evil.
Oh, wait, wrong movie.
So 1981, we have Fear No Evil.
You've seen it.
I have not seen Fear No Evil. We have Blood Beach.
You've seen that.
I have not seen. Are you just going to keep saying yes to every movie?
No.
Okay. Next up is The Hand. Have I seen
No.
The Hand? I have not seen The Hand.
See, I got one right.
Oh, and so I've seen 3 of the movies in 1980 for those keeping track. So 1981, continuing on, we have Bloody Birthday.
I think you've seen this.
I have seen Bloody Birthday. Next up, this is another gimme. We have Happy Birthday to Me.
Yeah, I bought that movie on my birthday. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. So I'll have to talk about that.
We'll have to
That's a good
watch
one.
that one.
I want to rewatch it. It's got a great ending. Next up is Hell Night.
Yes.
Which I referenced earlier. Yes, I have seen Hell Night with Linda Blair and Vince Van Patten. Next up is The Unseen.
No.
I have not seen The Unseen. Good call. Next up is The Prowler.
Yes.
Yes, great effects by Tom Savini. Next up is Mystics in Bali.
No.
I have not seen it. I can't remember. It's a Southwest Pacific film. I can't remember if it's Philippines, but it's a horror movie. It's been on my radar. I kind of do want to see it sometime. So that was it for 1981. So I saw 4 of the movies from that year. So 1982, we're kicking off with Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker.
Yes.
I have not seen it. It's been on my radar for a while, though. I want us to watch it. Next up is Parasite.
No.
Parasite in 3D. I have seen it. This is it's a very early Empire Pictures film, so Charles Band, but it's the first appearance of Demi Moore.
Oh.
Next up is Madman.
Sounds so generic. No.
I have seen Madman. Madman's pretty good. Another potential. I don't think it'll be for this year.
But you haven't seen Mad Men.
No, I have not. It's another potential for a Thanksgiving review because it takes place like right before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So not this year. I think we've got a movie in mind for next year. So next up is Next of Kin.
No.
I have not seen Next of Kin. Amityville 2, The Possession.
No, I don't think you've seen a lot of these.
I have seen Amityville 2, The
man.
Possession. It's actually it's not too bad. It's got Burt Young in it as the dad, so there's some other notable people. Kind of turns into an Exorcist ripoff towards the end, but a decent one at that. So next up we have The House on Sorority Row. Last film in 1982. I have seen The House on Sorority Row. I do like it. Not to be confused with the other sorority girl movie from 1980s that has a similar name.
There's a lot of them.
There's a couple, but I have seen that one too. So, but that one's not on this list, I think. 1983. So we saw 4 movies in 1982. So 1983. So we have Extro.
No.
I have not seen Extro. I want to see it. It's batshit crazy alien movie. Next up we have Curtains.
Yes.
I have seen Curtains. It has John Vernon in it. Next up is Hell of the Living Dead.
Yes.
I have seen Hell of the Living Dead. Bruno Mattei, Exploitation. This is the one that noticeably has a score from Goblin, but is just recycled Goblin scores from other movies. Next up is Possession.
Yes.
I have not seen Possession.
Hmm.
Devil Fetus.
No.
I have not seen Devil Fetus. Eyes of Fire.
Yes.
I have not seen Eyes of Fire. And then last for 1983 is Boarding House.
No.
I have not seen Boarding House. It's a very early of the shot-on-video films. So I've only seen 2 in 1983, and spoiler alert, that is the lowest films that I've seen and the lowest percentage.
Did I guess that one? No.
No, I think you guessed 85 for that. Spoiler alert, all your guesses were wrong, but that's okay. Maybe. Hold on, I can't remember. All right, moving on, because I forget what you guessed for the other ones.
Yeah.
So 1984, we have The Mutilator.
Yes.
A.K.A. Fall Break. Yes, I have. There's a sequel coming up that's supposed to be going into production. Where are you pointing at?
Wasn't that
The Hook? Yeah, it's the guy with the hook on the cover.
The girl flicks off somebody in that movie like that.
Maybe? I can't remember.
It's a GIF I always send you.
Oh, yeah, I think that might be from that. But yeah, there's a sequel coming out or going into production, I guess. So that's pretty cool. All these years later. So we have next up the last horror film.
Yes.
I have seen it. It's great. It's got Caroline Munro again and Joe Spinell again. So next up we have Mutant.
Yes.
I have seen Mutant. It's a nice little zombie vampire movie with Wings Hauser in it. We have The New York Ripper.
Yes.
Yes, Lucio Fulci's classic giallo. The Initiation.
No.
I have seen The Initiation. It's got Clu Gallagher. I don't know if I've done a spoiler for this yet, but it is in my book of potential spoilers with Clu Gallagher, and it's got Daphne Zena something, whatever her last name is. I always just call her Princess Vespa because she plays Princess Vespa in Spaceballs.
Okay.
And then last but not least, we have Don't Open Till Christmas.
No.
This guy, he doesn't go to the website. I have seen Don't Open Till Christmas. I watched it this last Christmas season. It's one of my short stacks, so go to the website and read about it. Caroline Munro also makes a brief cameo in it. So this is the highest percentage. I have seen every movie that they talked about, all 6 of them in 1984. Next up, 1985, we have Cemetery of Terror.
Yes.
I have seen Cemetery of Terror. Mexican? It's Latin America, at least, a horror film. They had a lot of films from this director in this thing. Pretty good. It's only in Spanish, though, so you have to watch it with subtitles. But it's a fun little zombie-type film. We have Cat's Eye.
Yes.
I've not seen Cat's Eye. Or if I have, I haven't seen all of it, and I've, maybe when I was younger, but I don't remember.
The one with the little girl that was there? That one
No, this is the Stephen King Cat's Eye.
Oh.
The anthology.
You haven't seen Cats?
Up next we have Phenomena.
Yes.
I have seen Phenomena, another Argento giallo with Jennifer Connelly and Donald Pleasance. I still want to ask Jennifer Connelly if I ever meet her if she can still talk to bugs. That's going to be the first thing I talk to her. She's going to look at me like I'm a fucking weirdo. So next up we have The Doctor and the Devils.
Yes.
I have not seen The Doctor and the Devils. So next up we have Transylvania 65000.
Yes.
I have seen that, another fun little horror comedy.
Goldblum.
Yep, Goldblum, Gina Davis is in it. Kramer's in it.
Michael Richards.
Yeah. A guy we can't really talk about anymore. Jeffrey Jones is in it.
Or you probably shouldn't talk about Michael Richards either, but yeah.
Well, yeah. And then last up in 1985, we have Guinea Pig, Devil's Experiment.
No.
I have not seen it. I'm not sure if it's really my type of film. It was, especially in this era, it was almost like a faux snuff film came out of Japan. There's an entire franchise of these films. This is the first one, I believe. So I've seen 3 of the 1985 films. So next up, 1986, we got Terror Vision.
Yes.
I have seen Terror Vision, fun film. Next up, we got Rats Night of Terror.
Yes.
Yes, I have. Bruno Mattei rat film, post-apocalyptic film, pretty good. We got The Hitcher.
Yes.
I have not seen The Hitcher.
Oh.
Next up, we have Critters.
Yes.
I have seen Critters. Next up is Manhunter.
Yes.
I have not seen Manhunter. If you know this is a kind of before The Silence of the Lambs took off. This was a first film based on the Hannibal Lecter mythos. Not really ties into Silence of the Lambs, but I've seen a lot of it on TV, but I've never sat down all the way through it. Next up, we have Deadly Friend.
Yes.
Yes, I have. This is the one with Anne Ramsey's head getting exploded by a basketball, famously, and the robot. Next up, we have Trick or Treat.
I think you have, yes.
I have not seen this. I've seen Trick or Treats, which
R.
is a different movie.
You've seen the R?
I've seen most of it on TV.
You've seen the contemporary one?
Yes, I've seen most of that on TV. This one's pretty famous.
Did hell freeze over?
This is another one of the satanic panic, heavy metal horror movies.
Oh,
Gene Simmons plays a disc jockey in it.
Like that Rose's one.
I do. Yeah. Yes. Spoiler alert, that movie might be coming up soon. So next up we have Slaughter High.
Yes.
Yeah, I have seen Slaughter High. Maybe we might be talking about that in a future episode soon. Wink, wink. Then we have Class of Nukem High.
Yes.
Yes, I've seen that. And then we have The Zero Boys.
No.
I have seen The Zero Boys. It's got the father Estevez, and it's got Kelly Maroney in it from Night of
Martin Sheen.
The Comet. No, the father Estevez.
Emilio Estevez's father is Martin Sheen.
Is it Martin? Is that Martin? It's no. I think it has Joe Estevez. Who's Joe Estevez?
I don't know.
Joe Estevez is a person. They're related. I think it's either the father. I can't. You'd have to look it up. But I know he's in there. So 1987. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7. So that one's in the lead. Did you guess 1986 for the most?
Yeah.
So it's in the lead right now. So next up, 1987, we have Witchboard.
Yes.
I have seen Witchboard. Blood Rage. Yeah, we can just skip that one. We reviewed it.
Yes.
Listen to our episode about it. We have The Gate.
Yes.
I have seen The Gate. Well, then we have Rock and Roll Nightmare.
Yes.
I have not seen it. It's on my list, though. Then we have Jaws, The Revenge.
No.
I have seen it. I don't know why they talked about it, because Jaws, The Revenge is not highly rated amongst people.
Jaws 9000.
Pretty much. The shark still looks fake. Then we have Creepazoids.
Yeah.
I have seen it. Linnea Quigley. Then we have Zombie Nightmare.
Yes.
I have seen it. It's got Adam West and now I can't think of her name from Wayne's World, the chick from Wayne's World.
Oh.
Her name escapes me at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then we have The Video Dead.
Yes.
I have seen it.
I saw it with you.
You did. And then we have Slumber Party Massacre 2.
Yes.
I have seen it. So I've seen 8 of the 9 films. So this is the highest number. So I can't remember if you guessed that one for the most number, most percentage.
I think I had those 2 years pretty high.
You had those 2 years, but I can't remember.
86, 87.
Anyway, so almost done. 1988, we have Return of the Living Dead 2.
Yes.
I have seen it. I don't think you've ever seen the sequel.
We watched part of it and then
You probably did. I don't know if I want to make you watch the bad version first or the actual original version that's good.
Now this movie's had like 20 versions.
Well, yeah, the bad version came out later after they lost the rights to some songs and they fucked up the score tremendously. So next up, Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-orama.
Yeah.
I have seen it. Linnea Quigley. It's got another bunch of other Scream Queens. They distribute it right now, but I don't know if they originally had anything to do with it. Dookie Flyswatter plays the voice of the imp though in it.
Who?
Exactly. The Serpent and the Rainbow.
No.
I have not seen it, but it's in my radar. We have Sleepaway Camp 2 on Happy Campers.
Yes.
I have seen it. It's a pretty good sequel, actually. Then we have Don't Panic.
No.
I have not seen Don't Panic. Lady in White.
Yes.
I have not seen Lady in White. Oh. Then next we have Dream Demon.
Yes.
I have not seen Dream Demon. Then we have Monkey Shines.
Yes.
Yep, An Experiment in Fear, George A. Romero. Then we have Black Roses, which we talked about earlier.
Yes.
I have seen Black Roses. Next up we have The Brain.
No.
I have not seen The Brain. And then we have Howl of the Devil.
Yes.
I have not seen Howl of the Devil. So I saw 5 of the movies from 1988. Then last year, 1989, and then we can dive into our review here. We have Things.
Yes.
I have not seen Things yet. You guys should have voted for it, and we could have talked about it during Awful August, but you guys really want us to talk about Hobgoblins, so check out our Hobgoblins review from last year for Awful August. Next up, we have The Shocking Dark. Or no, just Shocking Dark.
No.
I have not seen it. Then we have Santa Sangra.
No.
No, but it's been on my watch list forever. The thing that scares me off of it is the 2-hour runtime.
Is it a Christmas movie or no?
It's this weird fucked up movie. It's like this kid gets
raised
raised
in a
circus.
It sounds foreign.
Santa
Sangra?
Santa Sangra. It's like a Spanish production, I think. Fright Night Part 2.
Yes.
Yeah, we had to go jump through a bunch of hoops because it's super hard to find and go to the ARG places to find it.
Yes, sir.
But then we have Relentless.
No.
I have not seen Relentless. Then we have Puppet Master.
Yes.
I have seen Puppet Master. And then The Black Cat, 1989, mind you.
Yes.
I have seen it. This is the Luigi Cozy one that I talked about on Pickups before. And then last but not least, we have Grave Robbers.
No.
I have not seen Grave Robbers. So I've seen 3 of the movies from 1989. But yeah, it just goes to show you there's a ton of movies from the 80s that are all still pretty good, worth talking about that I haven't even seen yet.
And they mention all of those in that documentary.
Yes, this is all these movies they talk about in this. It's 5 hours of content, so it's pretty good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's somebody's name. You might see somebody's name in the credits. But which Rocco am I? I don't think I've dropped my last name. You'll have to guess because there's 2 of them.
I don't know. I get gas. Do you have a solution for that?
Maybe the Leprechaun can have a solution because that's today's review.
What is it, like Tetra?
So we'll dive into today's review. We're reviewing Leprechaun 1993.
No.
Yes, starring
The Leprechaun.
Hopefully we get this out before March is over we missed St. Patrick's Day, but that's okay. Starring Warwick Davis, Jennifer Aniston in a very early role. We have Ken Allant, who we talked about in April Fool's Day. Go back and listen to our April Fool's Day episode. Mark Holton, Robert Gorman, Shay Duffin, John Volstad, and John Sandiford. Executive producer Mark Amin, associate producer Barry Barnholtz. That name sounds familiar too. Director of photography Levi Isaacs. Edited by Christopher Rush, who we mentioned did the editing for Dentist 2. And music by Kevin Kiner. Co-produced by Michael Prescott, David Price, William Sachs, and written and directed by Mark Jones. So you ready to dive into Leprechaun, Perry?
Yes.
Alrighty.
Let's dive into this pot of gold.
So we begin with the Leprechaun.
What?
Garth, I'm the Leprechaun.
Leprechaun.
That's my favorite bit from Wayne's World. Where Wayne's just pretending to be the Leprechaun to Garth. I'm the Leprechaun. So the Leprechaun, he's sitting on some ancient stone stairwell, counting his pot of gold, stating, "Try as they will, and try as they might, who steals me gold won't live through the night." And that's the premise for this movie, people. If you steal the Leprechaun's gold, he's going to try and kill you, and rhyme while doing it. Then cue our really lame-looking title card, just white font saying Leprechaun, with your typical generis ominous music.
Yeah, actually, I thought some of the beginning music was not too bad.
It's okay. It's just really generic sounding is my whole thing. It's serviceable. It's just really generic to me. You know what I mean? Like, you could find it in any typical slasher.
I got you.
During the opening credit sequence, a limo pulls up and a guy steps out, downing a bottle of whiskey. This is Mr. O'Grady. Yep, you can't get more Irish than that. And his wife accosts him for this lavish display, but he tells her that's just the start, and soon they're going to be looking for McMansions.
He's drinking Jameson, not JB.
Yes, he's not.
This movie automatically.
Well, because he's Irish.
I know.
He's not Italian. He can't get the good stuff.
All right, good.
So he generously tips limo driver better stash than Scary Perry. He brings her up to speed that they are rich, and the urn he had sent from the funeral parlor in Ireland waiting on the porch doesn't contain his mother's ashes. In dramatic fashion, he smashes the urn on the porch table to reveal a bag of gold coins, explaining that while in Ireland, he caught a wee person, a leprechaun, and he had to show O'Grady where his pot of gold was. It's the rule, you know, O'Grady states. Well, if this franchise has told me anything, these rules are going to change from movie to movie.
Oh my God.
But she dismisses him as a drunken fool spinning a yarn, despite the foreboding flash and crackle of lightning and thunder. Inside, she brews some tea. What is with characters in slasher movies brewing tea, especially at the beginning? It's going to be coming up in Friday the 13th Part 2.
But she shows him the gold on the porch, right?
Yes, he shows him the gold.
He grabs a handful of it and some of it falls on the ground, and then they go inside. What about that gold that's left outside? This movie's giving me OCD already, okay? Pick up the damn gold.
But as she prepares the tea, she hears a child creepily singing, "Mary had a little lamb," and proceeds to investigate, tracking the sound to one of O'Grady's suitcases. Now, there's one thing I've learned from horror movies. It's to never open random trunks, crates, suitcases, etc. But what does she do when the child asks to let him out? She releases the latches, of course, and out pops the leprechaun.
Smart.
He wants his gold. I want me gold, Perry. I'm the leprechaun.
Who's Perry? I've never heard of the guy.
I want me gold, Scary Perry. So he chases her, and she backs up right into kill number 1. While avoiding the lep, you better watch your step. She falls backwards down the stairs in the basement. See, Joan Collins could have saved herself a lot of work if she just had a leprechaun to scare her husband down a flight of stairs. Then she could have sicked the leprechaun on that escaped Santa from Burley, too. Go back and check out our Tales from the Crypt episode to hear us talk about Burley a lot. O'Grady comes back from hiding the gold, but instead of being greeted by his wife, he finds the leprechaun imitating his wife's voice while bringing him some tea. Well, that was thoughtful of the leprechaun to bring him some tea, trying a more diplomatic approach to find his gold, I see. Also, it'd be nice if Dolores brought us something to drink. Come on, Dolores!
Yeah, where's my Shamrock Shake?
Very appropriate for this season. But why imitate his wife when you walk out and reveal yourself as the leprechaun? He could have found out and then revealed himself. Killed this guy, and I could be saying, check please already. How did you find O'Grady? Magic. Yeah, the magic is stowing away in his luggage. So he tells O'Grady that his wife should have watched her step. Yeah, I stole the line for the kill from the leprechaun. Do you know how hard it is to come up with clever lines for every kill for these? O'Grady goes and fetches his revolver and a 4-leaf clover and threatens the leprechaun with them. And the leprechaun is terrified of the clover. Before he starts blasting the leprechaun, he tells him he got the gold fair and square. Those were the rules. Yeah, O'Grady, you'll find out the rules in this franchise change from movie to movie, like I said earlier, so I wouldn't count on the leprechaun abiding by them.
Especially when you're in the hood.
Oh, jeez. We got a long ways to go before we get to the hood. The leprechaun runs off after O'Grady opens fire on it, and he follows it in the ominous music into the basement. And what does he find down there? The leprechaun playing Weekend at Bernie's with his wife. Hey, he's got one up on Andrew McCarthy and Jonathan Silverman, and that he can actually make her talk. O'Grady shoots the leprechaun. How many times did he shoot him, Loomis? I shot him 6 times! 6 times!
I did the math. That does not check out.
Apparently, this wounds the leprechaun in this movie, but he vows that it'll keep coming back. So O'Grady takes him and puts him in a crate, nails it shut, and places the 4-leaf clover on top to keep him sealed inside. But before he can hide the crate under a stairway at Horlick's University, set it on fire, the leprechaun puts a curse on him that causes him to have a heart attack or stroke. Unfortunately for the leprechaun, there's no way for him to get out, so he's stuck in there for the next 10 years waiting for the film to cut to a scene of an ungrateful Jennifer Aniston bitching at her father for making her spend the whole summer away from cool places like LA or Shit City, and instead has to spend it with her hick dad at this dump in North Dakota that needs fixed up. Seriously, she's going to be killed off, right? No character this bitchy lives through a horror movie. Am I right?
She should have. She should.
Yeah, she would have been the first one to die.
She should die now. Not now, but now in the movie.
Oh, geez. Don't get Jennifer Aniston security deal.
No.
But of course, the house they bought is Old Man O'Grady's. And what's the first thing you do when they head inside? Check out the now cobweb-infested and dusty basement. What could go wrong?
Nothing.
But don't worry. Dad got a good deal on this place. Probably due to the leprechaun infestation. Tori, which I guess is her name, proposes that she get a hotel in town and that he can come and visit her friends, like Perry's cousin Matthew, Louisa, Gail Weathers, Joey, and the lame Cavalier from the Dungeons & Dragons cartoon that always complains and has the lamest item out of all the characters, a shield, once a week on NBC.
What the fuck?
Louisa, that's a deep cut. And yes, I did look up what horror films the cast of Friends have been in. You got lucky this time, Joey. James Cameron's also in that movie that I referenced. That
freaking deep dive.
I don't know who plays Phoebe in that show, but the character she plays in a horror movie is Louisa, and James Cameron is in that horror movie.
I've barely seen the show.
Me too. It's not my cup of tea.
No.
I remember watching in the 90s, but it was.
I watched more Seinfeld than that.
Oh yeah, big Seinfeld guy.
Tenfold.
Never want to see Jason Alexander's ass again, unfortunately. Anyways, moving on.
You see his ass with a tail in Shallow Hal.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I didn't know
that's an ass I didn't.
I didn't know his ass is in 2 movies.
I didn't see his other ass.
Jeez. All right, so Dad asked if she thinks money is all you really need to get by in life. I mean, it helps keep our low-budget podcast going, so consider helping us out on Patreon at patreon.com/theMattPancaker. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, all that stuff. She dismisses his remark before noticing a tarantula climbing a wooden beam, stating that it could kill them. Look, Rachel, the venom of most tarantulas isn't potent enough to kill a human unless you're allergic. As long as you don't enter any libraries run by Lucio Fulci, I think you will be okay. She storms off and makes a call on her huge brick of an early cell phone to try to get reservations for a hotel, but actually bumps into Ken Olant. Ken's fallen on hard times since April Fool's Day. He must have lost a lot of money investing into Muffy's murder mystery weekend house, and then it went belly up. So now he's stuck being a handyman/painter. In the collision, he spills his paint thinner, to which she tries to hand him some money to cover the cost. Oh, Jennifer, money can't solve all of your problems, but it can buy you a movie review from us on Patreon at the $10 tier. This movie is perfectly set up for me to plug Patreon.
Just gotta do what you gotta do.
That's right. So all he wants is an apology, but she just shoves the money in his hand and tries to leave from this disgusting spider-filled house as fast as possible. But she gets goaded into staying by Ken, aka Nathan, by teasing her about women being afraid of bugs. But she isn't having any of this sexist nonsense because this is the 90s. And women in the 90s, they're all strong and independent and everything, and she decides to stay. I mean, the shoe fits Jennifer, though. I know a lot of women who are still terrified of insects. Also, I thought women had better fashion sense because that blue dress with white polka dots is hideous. It's one of the ugliest dresses I've ever seen. It's like this sundress.
The costume coordinator for this movie.
Her costume gets a little bit better. She gets this jean jacket, but this first one I'm like...
Except for the leopard.
Yeah, Leprechaun's really good looking. Dad comes out.
That's a good looking leprechaun.
God, I'm the leprechaun.
Look at his little shoes with the buckles.
So Dad comes out and is ready to leave, so he doesn't have to listen to his daughter bitch anymore. But she insists that he take those bags back inside as she keeps glancing at Nathan because she wants that handsome D. Perfect timing for Ken, too, as I imagine him and Amy Steele took some time off after April Fool's Day, and then she took a camp counseling gig, and he never heard from her again after she got committed at the end of that movie.
I could go for some.
It's okay, Ken. She seemed obsessed with some Paul guy at the end anyways. Oh, go ahead.
No.
Oh, okay.
Sunny D. I just was thinking about Sunny D.
Okay.
You said you want some of that D. I want some of that Sunny D. No, actually, that shit's nasty.
Do you like Sunny D?
No, I don't.
I'm gonna play it now.
I would have Hawaiian Punch. That's what I want right now.
All right.
Please send all Hawaiian Punch to me.
Do they have Hawaiian Punch here? Dolores, get this kid a Hawaiian Punch stat.
They're still rebuilding this gas station. They're like, there's like 2 bricks
There's a sign up, yeah, but the guys are kind of like, they're dicking around over there. We are then introduced to the rest of Nathan's crew, the slow-witted Ozzy and the little kid brother Alex.
Oh, God.
Ozzy seems to have a propensity to tell tall tales, and Alex tells him to knock it off with all the UFO crap, as JD, Jennifer's dad, walks up and introduces himself. JD asks if they need any help, but Alex Kidd tells him that their liability insurance prevents anyone else but them from handling the equipment. Alex Kidd, he's
not bad in that movie. I've seen him a lot. I like the movie.
Are we talking about the dad or the little kid?
The little kid. The movie, now I just had a brain fart.
Yeah, he looks familiar, but I'm not sure I recognize him.
He's like not big in the movie. I think it's a Rookie.
Oh, the Rookie?
Rookie of the Year, excuse me.
Rookie of the Year?
Yeah. That's the only movie that Daniel Stern directed. He's in there, but he's clever in that movie, but not like this.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Daniel Stern.
I love that movie, though.
Listen to our
I used to watch that movie
about Daniel Stern
every night before I went to bed for a long time.
Okay.
And that was in recent years. Okay.
I think you got some problems over there.
No, I have no problems. You know a movie I currently watch every night before I go to bed?
What's that?
The Fugitive.
Really?
Yeah. You find this man. Find this man.
Okay. I'll just take your word for it.
I don't care.
All right. So, well, what does the insurance company have to say about child labor, Alex? After the dad leaves, the two horse around some more. You get what you paid for when it comes to hired help, I guess. But the kid does remark he could go for a beer. This kid's just as bad as Moss Garcia. Listen to our Christmas Evil episode to hear how bad Moss Garcia is.
Watch the mom from Seinfeld bitch slap.
Yeah, that's right. Not Seinfeld.
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement.
I'm fucking up. Did you drug me?
I think he needs some sugar.
What is the drug?
Look, Dolores, can we get this kid some sugar? He needs a sugar fix. His sugar's getting low.
You have any stuff? You got the Benz, brother.
Anyways, back inside, Jennifer, I already forgot her character's name, Aniston, tiptoes down the stairs with some iced tea, looking for Nathan. Clearly, she is trying to butter him up to get that D. However, we catch a glimpse of the leprechaun sleeping in the crate, and the ominous music kicks in. But Nathan is looking for tarps on a shelf, and we get a Tempo magazine stinger of one of them falls off and lands on Jennifer, causing the tray to crash on top of the crate and wake the leprechaun in the process. Then Nathan dumps some exposition on Jennifer about the previous owner, Old Man O'Grady, and all the weird stuff he's collected, and he gets the bright idea to open up the crate. Look, I know how this ends, and whatever you think, there aren't jewels inside, alright? Nathan dares her to open it, unless
there be jewels inside of a crate?
That's the line from Creepshow, because the janitor thinks hey, look, there's jewels, and they reaches in, and you know why that happens.
I mean, we could talk to somebody about this in a week, but fucking canceled. All right, excuse me.
Yeah, well, we could talk to somebody else about it, though, in a week, even though they're not really too big into the too much in the actual segments of it.
You tell me about that box.
Anyways, continuing on, Nathan dares her to open it, unless she's too scared, but she scoffs at this and is going to open it. But they're interrupted by Ozzy screaming outside. Outside, Ozzy is looking a bit blue in the face from it being covered in spilt blue paint. So he heads inside to clean up, and the leprechaun sees this as his opportunity to escape by taking advantage of the simpleton. Just like Mrs. O'Grady, Ozzy hears the voice of a child singing come from the basement and heads downstairs to investigate. Looking around, he comments that there's a lot of unique junk, and looking around here, I could say the same thing. Unique, but still junk that should be cleaned up. Dolores, clean up some of this junk around here.
Speaking of junk, have you been back in Dolores' trunk over there?
No, God, no.
You were in there the other day.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, that was you.
You want to go look in Dolores'
I don't look at her
crate?
Junk in her crate.
You want to go look in her crate?
Her crate?
Check out her
box?
jewels?
I don't want to see her box. No.
Oh, we're off the rails on the terror train again.
Yeah.
I would make a comment here about a character doing something stupid and wandering off to check out a strange voice/noise alone, but this guy isn't playing with a full deck of cards, so his bad choices are forgivable. The voice asks him to let him out of the crate, and the buffoon that Ozzy is, he brushes off the 4-leaf clover accidentally while touching the crate. Again, in his defense, that clover should have rotted away and turned to dust by now anyways. And just like that, the leprechaun busts out of the crate like the Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah, I want me gold! The leprechaun quips, "Hey Tubby, you got a light for an old leprechaun's pipe?" I mean, that barely kind of sounds like a rhyme. Maybe he'll give us better shtick once he's fully awoken from his slumber here.
I mean, yeah, it's been years.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been 10 years. And hey, after a 10-year nap, he's hungry, so he snatches up a Jerusalem cricket from his arm and eats it with a loud, satisfying crunch. What's with Jerusalem crickets in horror movies?
But he already had it.
Do you think that was left over from Silver Shamrock?
I think so.
They sent all the leftover stock of the Silver Shamrock mask to this place
Maybe
that they were making at the end of the film for some reason.
He's one of those pranks.
Yeah. They put one on a kid. Like some kid wandered in the house, put one on in the basement. His brain melted into bugs, which is why the place is infested with bugs now and tarantulas and shit.
You're making great connections.
That's right.
Great connection. There's another connection too to it. I'll tell you later.
Oh, awesome. So if there's one thing he wants you to know, he's a leprechaun. Perry, I'm the leprechaun. I want me pot of gold and me pancakes from Dolores.
Slap of the bass.
And he is a shoemaker by trade. I'm sure that's not going to matter later.
No, I don't.
He asks Ozzy if he's seen his gold. And if he lies to him, he'll bite his ear off. So he must be related to Mike Tyson. That's a bit of foreshadowing for what comes up later, too. That's Ozzy's cue to exit, and he runs up the stairs, but the leprechaun uses his magic powers to close the door. But Ozzy just opens it and continues his escape. The leprechaun says that he only got away because his powers are as weak as his rhymes right now. Apparently, he needs his gold to get most of his powers back, I guess. It's a little convoluted, but that's kind of what the movie makes it sound like, especially later on. Ozzy runs out screaming like a madman Mars that there is a leprechaun in the basement. Of course, they don't believe him, but the leprechaun even wanted to give him a free shoe shine. Ozzy tells him he wants his pot of gold, and to coalesce his worries, Nathan says that he'll go down there to check it out. And Jennifer Aniston says she better go with him, just in case. Yeah, just in case she can get some of Nathan's world-famous hot dog, if you catch my drift.
In front of other people?
Hey, I mean, if the D's that good.
What is wrong with you?
I mean, hey, I don't know what she's thinking. She's the one that wants the D.
You're talking a lot about the D.
I mean, don't you like the D?
You like the D. I do like Dick. I do like Dick. That sounded just like me. Where'd you get that from?
I don't know. Listen to our Halloween 2 episode.
Scary Pod around here? Are you scary Rocco Pod?
That's a negative, Ghost Rider.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Do you like the D?
No.
Are you sure? Do you like the double D's?
I do like the double D's. I mean, who doesn't?
Clip that.
It's not. That wasn't quite as good.
All right.
A clip. But anyways, continuing on. So Nathan has all these tools to use as an improvised weapon, but instead he grabs a flimsy stick. Come on, Kenelant. You've done this before. You're making yourself look bad. These are rookie slasher movie mistakes. You've been in a slasher movie before.
North Dakota, they don't have anything.
Yeah, but he could have used his hammer. He's got all their stuff.
Or
he
his
can
D.
use. Just whip it out there and slap that leprechaun in the face with it.
I'm the leprechaun.
So they all head down into the basement, but they can't find anything. But Ozzy insists that he saw the leprechaun, and he had buckles on his shoes and really nasty-looking teeth. Yes, because that's the first trait I would use to describe a leprechaun is the condition of his teeth.
So are they British?
Well, they're from Ireland. I mean, that's not too far from Great Britain.
I guess you're right. I do not know anything about geography. Go ahead.
But you were able to draw us a map to Shit City last time. That's all right. He even adds that he doesn't brush them. How will you know, Ozzy? You just met the guy. How do you know he hasn't been brushing his teeth in that crate all these years? But little do they know, something is watching them from the POV camera and knocks something over. But when they check it out, it's just a rat. A rat! Man, it's next to impossible to get those things out of your house. Just ask Peter Weller. While Ozzy insists that he saw a leprechaun, the rest are content with the rat explanation, and the gang heads outside to resume working on the house. But when you know it, a rainbow appears in the sky, and Ozzy believes it's a magic rainbow, because of the leprechaun, and runs off to find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Alex runs off after him, which leaves Nathan and Jennifer Aniston alone to paint, wink, wink, wink. She also asks Nathan if his paint is biodegradable, wink, wink, wink. What do they find at the end of the rainbow? Well, first, they find the world's worst rainbow, only consisting of 3 colors, blue, green, and red, when it clearly had all the colors in the sky just moments ago. Second, they find an old, rusted, rundown pickup truck. Do you think this truck can magically restore itself like Christine? How about Leprechaun versus Christine for a versus movie? Would that be an awesome
Christine
horror movie versus combo?
Halloween ends? What?
Okay. Oh, boy. The rainbow fades away, and they look around the truck, and we get a brief sound effect and a flash of something inside the truck. In a blink and you'll miss it moment. No, really. I didn't notice it the first time I watched it, and rewound the scene several times to figure out what the sound effect was for. Did you need to say something?
No.
Oh, you were giving me like a high
I was eating that.
Oh, okay.
There's no food around here.
Okay.
I'm hungry.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean...
Do you have a Jerusalem cricket for me?
Yeah, it's been an eternity since Dolores brought us anything.
I'll take the Jerusalem cricket stacks, please.
Okay. But yeah, I had to rewind because it's a literal blink and you miss a moment. I didn't even notice the first time until I'm watching it for my notes. Once they reach the open driver's side door, Ozzy finds a gold coin inside. And then a whole bag of gold coins materializes out of thin air and Alex snatches it up. Now, why did the gold appear now? Did the bag have a proximity sensor on it or something? Who knows? Ozzy thinks it's the leprechaun's gold, but Alex tells him to knock it off, and it's their gold now, citing the age-old common law rule of finders keepers. What? That's not a real rule from common law? You tell me it isn't. Alex wonders if it's real, but Ozzy knows how to tell if it's real. You bite on it, of course. He saw it in a movie, but it didn't work for him. You mean the movie lied? Man, I still need to get sound bites. But of course, he ends up swallowing the coin by mistake. But it cuts away from him biting into it to Alex and just plays the swallowing sound effect and then cuts back to him and it's already being gulped down. I'm sure that's not going to matter later.
Nope.
Or 7 sequels later either.
Nope. Not at all.
Alex tells him, "Nice going, Jaws." Sigh, if only we were watching Jaws.
Yes.
Since Ozzy's method of checking if the gold was real or not didn't pan out, Alex decides that he'll take one into town to have it checked, and then they'll hide the rest in the Chekhov's old well by the house for safekeeping. But they aren't going to tell anyone else because the adults will try to take it away from them. Ah, agreed. The best of all motivations. Speaking of which, have you checked out the Patreon page yet? Patreon.com/themadpancaker.
Check it out.
Plus, having all this gold means that Alex can get Ozzy a copy of Operation by Milton Bradley. Actually, he means an operation to fix his brain and make him not dumb. And what coincidence, we are also saving up that Patreon money for an operation to fix Scary Perry's mustache and make it nice, bountiful, and beautiful bushy mustache.
I'm going to jump the table. I'm going to throw something at him. Here, let me find something.
Also, apparently everyone makes fun of Ozzy, but only behind his back. Hey, we don't care. We make fun of Dolores right to her face. Right, Dolores, you fucking bitch?
Do you think this is where George R. Martin got the idea of Hodor?
Hodor?
From his book?
I have no idea. I don't know much about
I don't know. I think
Game of Thrones stuff.
Yeah.
Back at the house, Nathan is telling Jennifer Aniston to use nice, easy strokes. To paint the house, of course. Get your mind out of the gutter, pervs. What is with the paint scheme for this house, though? It's like red in one part and then blue in like the trim.
It's
really weird.
progressive for the time.
Yeah.
Or did I use the right word?
I don't know. It's something.
Trendy for the time.
There you go. But when she goes to get another can of paint from the truck, we pan down to see the leprechaun hiding underneath it, and he starts to caress her leg. Hey, Lep, save the women chasing plotline for the sequel, okay, buddy?
I want the D.
She thinks it's Nathan, but he's over by the house, and when she realizes this, she screams and gets scratched by the leprechaun as she falls to the ground. Nathan and Dad run over to check on her, and she tells them she thought Nathan was caressing her leg. He replies, "You let me?" Well, I mean, yeah, she's practically been fucking you with those eyes this whole movie, so... She says it ran off, but the dad dismisses it as just being a possum. Jennifer rejects that thought, saying she knows what it feels like when a man caresses her leg. The dad replies, "You do?" with this stupefied look on his face. Really, Dad? The short shorts she wears wasn't a dead giveaway of a loose woman? Dad decides to go look for the animal because it could be rabid. Geez, I sure hope not. I know what rabies could do to a human thanks to David Cronenberg. All of a sudden, they hear a cat start meowing repeatedly. Oh no, did I put in uninvited by mistake here? Have I been watching the wrong movie?
I wish you did.
Meow, meow. We'll have to talk about that one sometime.
I like that movie.
I don't think you really do, but...
I did like that movie.
The dad goes to find the cat sticking his hand into a hollow of a nearby tree where the noise is coming from. But all he gets for his trouble is a Tempo magazine stinger and a gruesome bite to the hand. We get a glimpse of a composite/green screen leprechaun peeking through the hole in the tree trunk. That doesn't look great by today's standards. Now, why would he bother to lure them over to the tree in the first place? Clearly, if he can magically fit inside that tiny hole, there's no way they would have found him if he just, hid. Like, why lure them over?
I have a question.
What's the benefit he gains there?
This just came to me now.
Okay.
So you have Leprechaun, right?
Yeah, we got Leprechaun.
All right. So Leprechaun bit him. Mm-hmm. Are these two things related? Is he going to turn into a leprechaun, leper? Are they related?
Have you been watching the sequels?
No.
Okay. I make a lot of jokes about that. That's an entire plot line from
But
we'll talk about.
Are they like related though? Like just in general?
Like a were-leprechaun?
No, like a leprechaun and a leper. Are they related? The words.
I don't think so.
It's like leper.
You could turn into a leprechaun from the leprechaun bite, but now we're getting too much into sequel territory. I'm not even making that up.
I don't know. Anyway.
I make a lot of references in my notes.
I'm just spinning my wheels now.
So the gang all hop into the three guys that paint truck. Great name, fellas. You couldn't think of anything better? To take Dad to the hospital, where he will disappear for the rest of the movie. Here's a reference here. I'm assuming it's all because he's too busy turning into a leprechaun for a future sequel to remain in this movie. But just like in any horror movie, the car won't start. Well, I'm also sure that won't matter later. Alex is the mechanical whiz kid who gets the car running again in 2 seconds. What is it with kids in horror movies being extremely talented at like everything? They're always the only ones that know like there's something weird going on. They're also always smart and everything.
No.
As they speed off, the leprechaun runs into a barn to get his own set of wheels, a tricycle, and uses his magic powers to speed up the footage to make him go faster. The gang split up as Jen and Nathan take Dad into the horror hospital never to be seen again, and they tell Alex and Ozzy to go to the cafe for some grub. Instead, though, they take the coin to the convenient local coin shop as it's closing, but we hear the ring of a bell. A bike bell? What are those bike bells called? Do they have like a specific name? You know, the thing you pull the thing and it rings and it goes
bell?
Ring, 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 ring. Is it just a bell or a bike bell?
I
don't know if it has a special name or not. And we pan over to see the shadow of the leprechaun on the trike cast on the adjoining dumpster. He wants his gold. Perry, I'm the leprechaun. I want me gold. Inside, knockoff Booger says he's never seen a coin like this before. And if it's gold, it is probably worth $500, but it could also have historical value and be priceless. You know, like if it's from One-Eyed Willie's Lost Pirate Treasure. You could buy half of Astoria with it and be knee-deep in all the MILF strains you can handle. That's right, I made 2 references to 2 movies that take place in Astoria, Oregon. He has to keep it overnight to study it and puts it in his safe. And Alex tells him to keep this just between us. Yeah, like this guy was really just going to run off and tell everyone about it. They leave to head back to the diner before the others get to, quote, Alex, pissed at them for not being there. Whoa, you little pissant, watch your fucking language. Inside, knockoff Booger studies the coin and checks one of his books to compare it to. But he hears the chime of a bike bell. Uh-oh. I'm calling him knockoff Booger because he looks like Booger from Revenge of the Nerds a little bit. The guy's done a lot of stuff.
Curtis Armstrong?
I think that's his name,
It
yeah.
is.
I think he even plays the parody character Snot in American Dad, because they have a character that's one of the... Steve, I think, is the son's name in American Dad, plays one of his friends Snot. I think so. I think it's the same guy, which is hilarious that they... Because obviously it's a parody of Booger because he has the name Snot, and it kind of looks like him, and they got the guy to play the voice. I think. Don't quote me on that. I'd have to look it up to double check. So he investigates, but all he finds is some foreboding music, so he goes to put the coin in the safe. but a tricycle rolls up and bumps into him, which just isn't weird at all. Random tricycle rolls up. It's like, where the hell did that come from? He just brushes it off. So after checking and finding nothing again, he resumes opening the safe and out pops the Leprechaun in a Tempo magazine stinger. I guess that safe wasn't made of wrought iron then. Maybe? This is the problem having seen and knowing all the rules for all the sequels. It gets very confusing on what works and what doesn't work.
I can't believe you've seen the sequels. Do you need help?
Probably.
Do we need to find some gold to help you?
Yeah, you need to find some gold so I can quit making this podcast or something. No, to quit my job. No, we need to find this gold to make the podcast better. Or, just like finding gold, contributing on Patreon if you can.
Stop knocking shit over on the table, Rocco. Dolores is going to have to clean that salt shaker.
She's never going to clean it up. Let me grab the salt, throw it over for good luck, so that way, throw it over my shoulder for good luck, so hopefully we don't have to review any bad horror movies soon. And what does the Leprechaun want? Some of the collectibles that the shop owner also sells? No, he wants his gold.
Really?
He grabs and bites the guy's leg. So the guy gives him the coin because of this. But the shop owner isn't off the hook yet, as the Leprechaun grabs a pogo stick and starts hopping toward him in slow motion for some reason, leading us to kill number 2, Pogo Slow-Mo Death Blow. As the Leprechaun puts it, he plays pogo on knockoff Booger's lung, pogoing up and down on his chest, which leads to a surprising amount of blood being splattered across his face and body. To be fair, only the approach and the first few bounces were slow motion, but damn it, if the Leprechaun is going to rhyme, so will I.
This is the best kill in this movie.
It's not too bad. I don't think it's really bloody for what the fake torso's okay that he's poking on, but it's just like throwing blood on his face for whatever reason. Also, it's a shame to see this fine mustache that is better than Scary Perry's go before his time. The Leprechaun notices that the dead shop owner's shoes are dirty. Since he's a shoe cobbler by trade, he has to shine them. But he does a terrible job and they are still visibly dirty and bloody. I would demand my quarterback if I got a shoe shine like that. He quips that it'll bounce back in no time now. Ha! I really think I'm only here for the Leprechaun's clever limericks and puns. He now has 1 coin, but he still has to get the other 99. What a convenient number, 100 gold coins. Before leaving, he eyes up a new set of wheels in a big wheel style sports car made for little kids. Coins and toys, what a weird combination of things to sell. Plus stacks of National Geographic are just off by the wall for some reason.
I remember that. Yeah.
Also,
that was like everybody's house.
I see them come through the door.
There's a lot of people.
And there's a stairs leading upstairs like could also be this guy's house, but it still looks like it's filmed in a basement, which I would know nothing about being in a basement and recording anything.
No. You saw like when I was younger, go to certain people's houses, you just see like Nat Geo's just like in corners stacked up.
People just have them stacked up?
Yeah.
Inside the cafe, Jennifer and Nathan are wondering where the heck Ozzy and Alex are. And wait, is that Jennifer Aniston sitting at that table over there at the other side of the diner here, the International House of Horror? When did they sneak in? And that guy kind of looks like Jennifer Lawn.
Is that Jennifer Aniston?
I called him Jennifer. It kind of looks like
so Jennifer Aniston then or now?
Maybe I could be mistaken.
Because if it's now,
I'm surprised there's 2 other random people in this place.
If it's now, excuse me, I'll be back.
Oh, jeez. I mean, sure, yeah, I would too, but I mean, come on now. This podcast is for adults, so I'm sorry, it's not for children.
What?
Anyways, moving on.
I'll give her a mustache, right? All right.
Oh, you're going to break the Badum-Ching counter here.
I love it.
Nathan informs us that they have to keep her dad overnight for observation, to see if he turns into a leprechaun, and that will be fine in the morning. Because he'll just be a were-leprechaun and will only transform during the night of a full moon entertainment logo.
Or he'll be a leopard.
Or that too.
No con. Con!
Oh, Shatner. He reassures her that the worst is over. Are you kidding me? This franchise hasn't even been to the hood yet. The worst is yet to come. Meanwhile, the leprechaun gets pulled over by the police while driving down the road. Why did he keep all the toys in the back, though? Along with his tricycle. Is he really going to reuse that thing later?
This movie is bananas.
It's crazy.
It's fucking bananas.
The officer thinks he's a little young to be out this late, but the leprechaun informs us he's 600 years old, at least in this version. The officer doesn't take too kindly to this and tells him to get out of the car, but the leprechaun claws his face instead, pulling his gun from his holster and tossing it aside in the process. So the officer takes off through the woods, but the leprechaun and the stock chase music are in hot pursuit. He eventually hides behind a tree, temporarily losing the leprechaun. What is up with the lighting here, though? It's night. It was night. but this like area is kind of like has this bright light shining in. I know it's probably like filming lights, but it's like, why is there lights coming here? There's no like civilization nearby, like from like somebody's backyard porch lights or something. I know it's probably so we can see stuff, but
Maybe it's the Northern Lights.
who knows? The cop runs out from his hiding place, but stops when he finds the leprechaun's hat on the ground, and is then taunted by the leprechaun popping out from behind different trees magically. He throws his nightstick at the leprechaun, who then just runs away. Okay, whatever. So the cop collapses with his back to the tree, believing he's safe and enjoying a brief respite. But the leprechaun drops from above and lands on his shoulders, leading to kill number 3. Your role is over, cop, so now your neck goes pop. The leprechaun snaps the cop's neck with a satisfying crunch. It's fun because he playfully just taps his head all loose around afterwards. It's kind of funny.
Chiropractor.
Yeah. Back at the diner, Jennifer complains about the food, commenting that it's cut up dead cow. If you're lucky, if you're unlucky, it could be the stuff. She doesn't eat meat. So she's in the fine company of fellow vegetarians like Adolf Hitler.
Wow. Well, that just went somewhere.
Did you know Adolf Hitler was a vegetarian?
I guess you learn something new every day.
Nathan proves a point by taking off her shoe and telling her that it's made from cows too. Whoa there, Tarantino. Give the lady her shoe back before things get weird. Ozzy and Alex finally show up, and hey, some big oaf and a little kid just walked into the diner over there, and they're just sitting down with that Jennifer Aniston lookalike over there. That's kind of weird. This is kind of a busy place today. Usually it's just us two in here. There's 4 other people.
J-Bones better get cooking.
Yeah, you better hit that skillet hard and then get the frying pans out. Hurry it up, J-Bones. We need some more pancakes over at table 6 over here.
Where's Dolores?
She must be on one of her numerous smoke breaks. Anyways, moving on. While they are out to eat, the leprechaun breaks into their house and makes himself right at home, looking for his gold, ransacking the place, checking the cabinets. All he finds is some great value brand Lucky Charms. Is this time for the fun fact about Lucky Charms? Do you have a fun fact about Lucky Charms?
Fun fact?
Do you? You don't know about it, do you?
It could be in here somewhere.
Fun fact, they were actually supposed to use Lucky Charms in this film as product placement, and Lucky Charms was happy to oblige. But once they saw the movie, they're like, we can't have our name affiliated with this fucking shit. So it's like Lucky Clover or something. It's some knockoff brand, Lucky Charm.
Here it is. I must have. I don't know why I didn't write it down.
That's okay. I thought you had it. We get a swoosh cut. Swoosh. And the leprechaun has gathered up all the shoes and boots in the house.
But you know what it says?
What?
No, they said that the reason they pulled it is because he ate some of it and he spit it out.
Oh, is that why?
That's what
I thought it was
says.
just because they saw the cut.
Yeah.
Everything I've heard, they saw the cut and it's like, whoa, this wasn't what we signed up for.
Dick.
Whoa, where'd that come from? I accidentally bumped the button on the keypad.
I do like Dick. What?
Oh, funny. That was, as Bob Ross called, a happy little accident. Yeah, I always heard that was because, like, whoa, this is a little too violent for a film we signed up for. We thought this was a full-on horror comedy.
I mean, it could be both.
But, yeah, it's like this. I didn't research it too much. I just always heard that people talk about that way. Anyways, back to this weird swoosh cut. Goes swoosh. And the leprechaun has gathered up all the shoes and boots in the house. And he's obligated to shine every single one. Thankfully, not in real time. Let's hope he does a better job than he did on the shop owner's shoes.
This foot shoe fetish is fucking weird.
Tarantino would be right at home in this movie. The gang finally arrives back to the house to see it trash, and Ozzy states the obvious that something got in here. Alex quips, "No shit, Sherlock. Man, this kid is going to end up in Harry's book of naughty kids right next to Moss Garcia with that mouth." Nathan thinks it was a bear. Now, was it Grizzly or that weird thing from the Prophecy? Prophecy is pretty crazy. It's got like a terrible looking mutated bear effect.
Well, Annis is a bitch in this. She's probably menstruating. Menstruating brings the bears.
We'll have more to say about that in October. Man, we just keep referencing future episodes down the line.
The bears are
the
coming.
Same future episode, no less. But Ozzy sees all the shine shoes and comments that the leprechaun tried to shine his shoes. So our money is on bear from Grizzly, mutated bear from the Prophecy, or leprechaun. Place your bets, people. After cutting to the full moon logo, I'm not ruling out Dad being a were-leprechaun just yet. The gang has cleaned up the kitchen where they hear a bell. Uh-oh. They follow the noise to a false scare of Ozzy ringing the trike bell that he's just holding. Ozzy and Alex cozy up on the furniture, and Ozzy takes this moment to ask if he'd think he could kill a leprechaun. He replies that you could kill anything. You just have to know how to do it. As Arnold would say, if it bleeds, we can kill it.
Don't ever do that impression again.
It's terrible. I could do a good, get to la chopper. Although that was terrible too. Voice today. Blah.
Oh, poor baby. That was horrible.
So yeah. So he replies, "Yet you can kill anything. You just have to know how to do it."
You can milk it.
Yes,
Also.
I do know how to do it, but disposing of the body is another matter altogether. What? Alex says all he needs is a 357 Magnum, and blam!
I need help. Give me that salt shaker.
Once I find out how to hide the body. I mean...
What?
Anyways, moving on. So yeah, just blam! Brains and guts oozing out. Man, this kid must watch the same things I did when I was his age. So I think I'm most like this little kid. And Perry, well, I guess that just leaves you to be Ozzy. You're the brain, and I'm the brawn. Or wait, no, you're the brawn, and I'm the brain.
No.
All of a sudden, we hear the bell ring, but it isn't Ozzy this time.
Wait, no. That's bad.
Anyways.
I'm the lucky... No.
You're something.
I'm a pair of shoes.
You're the scary Perry. That's what you are.
That's what I am.
But it isn't Ozzy this time ringing the bell, as it is sitting on the end table. Bum, bum, bum. They follow the noise and eerie music to the kitchen, and Nathan goes outside to scope out the situation. But outside, he trips over a bucket and falls right into a bear trap, clamping around his leg, and out runs the leprechaun. Was this one of his traps? He's got magic, and this is the best he can do? The leprechaun is going to try and perform an emergency amputation on him, but Nathan fights back, pummeling him with his flashlight. When he beats on him with this flashlight, is this piece of a little person here? Like, just wailing on him with a flashlight.
Self-defense.
All right, we'll go with that.
Self-defense.
I'm not sure it's worked, Davis, in every shot here. I think they are using some forced perspective with stunt people, from different angles.
I read that he performed most of his stunts.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
I'm
it's
sure,
hard to tell
I'm sure
because
they had
it's
some
quick.
extra.
It's quick.
Yeah.
Because of the quick cuts, it's hard to tell if it's. I didn't, linger on him. So the others run out to see what's going on, but the leprechaun runs over and bites Nathan's wounded leg. Is he going to turn into a leprechaun now too?
I'm telling you.
Wait.
A leopard.
Hold on. I think in the sequel, you actually need to have your bite mixed with leprechaun blood to get into your blood system to turn to leprechaun. But I like my version better. So Ozzy runs inside to call the police while the rest of them wail on the leprechaun with some logs. Again, more abuse of a little person. Alex runs to get the shotgun, while Ozzy has a hilarious phone call with the police. Help! It's happening! The attack is on! O'Grady Farm, send help! The leprechaun is attacking! Army, Navy, guns, Marines! I'm sure they're going to come right over now.
You see they had a nice sawed-off shotgun?
Yeah, they did. But yeah, I'm sure they're going to come right over. Oh wait, knock off Alfonso Ribeiro. God, I hope that's how you pronounce his last name. A.K.A. Carlton makes fun of them as soon as he hangs up. They're screwed. So Alex trips, bringing the shotgun back, accidentally setting off the gun and blowing his brains out. What a dark turn from the movie. Just kidding. He recovers and gives it to Nathan, who beats back the leprechaun and then gives him some of that pump action goodness, knocking him into the bushes. He pumps a few more rounds into the bushes for good measure, as Jennifer remarks. That was no fucking bear. Ya think? They regroup and need to get a paramedic for Nathan, but Ozzy says that he has already took care of it on the phone and they are going to send more paramedics. And just as they're regrouping, we're going to take a brief moment to regroup and take a break, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Nothing?
A dinosaur story?
There you go. So he said they're going to send more paramedics. But when asked if he told them it was a leprechaun like a dumbass, he says he did. Womp womp. So they regroup back in the house, but the phone line is dead now. So they patch up Nathan with stuff around the house, but not before Ozzy asks, Tori, did you think that thing looked like a leprechaun to you? I think that one might be a winner for top 10 quotes 2023 reviews. Did it look like a leprechaun to you? Oh, so Tori, that's her name. I think I just call her Jennifer Aniston the whole time.
I thought it was Chloe.
No, it's Tori. So the plan is to patch him up and they get him in the truck and head to town. But the leprechaun is still out there, isn't it? But Dr. Loomis says he shot him 6 times, so they should be good. Nathan shot him 6 times. They managed to get to the truck, but hey, remember how it wouldn't start earlier? Well, it won't start now, so Alex has to go out to fix it again. Damn that distributor cap. They tell him to hurry, so of course he walks super slow toward the hood as the spooky music kicks in. He shouldn't have been wasting his time looking all around for the leprechaun, because he's under the hood along with a Tempo magazine stinger as he jump scares Alex when he opens it.
Could you say he's in the hood?
No. I said under the hood, not in the hood. You're going to have to wait a few movies for Ice-T. Ice-T. How the mighty fell. Alex runs back inside the truck with the others, and the leprechaun terrorizes them from the outside, punching through the windshield. Damn, are we sure his name isn't Little Mac? like the Mike Tyson reference is even more appropriate.
I got to know.
Apparently, he's more like Mike Tyson, though, because he bites Ozzy's ear, as promised. But Jennifer jabs him in the nose with the truck's cigarette lighter. Do those have a proper name, the cigarette? I always just call it the cigarette lighter. I know much people with the downturned and smoking. I think it's
a cigarette lighter, yeah.
It probably has a fancy
It's like
name.
a push lighter? I don't know.
Yeah, it probably has a fancy name.
I once pushed one and put my finger on it like an idiot. That hurt like...
That's our Ozzy, Scary Perry for us.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend.
The leprechaun runs over to the barn, and he busts out in his Mad Max souped-up go-kart with a pitchfork attached to the front. He speeds toward the side of the truck and crashes into it, causing the truck to flip over, doing a complete 360-degree roll. Jeez, it's just like a go-kart with some sheet metal attached. Does it have magic leprechaun powers, too, to make it hit like a Mack truck? He gets out to check the truck, but magically they're all unharmed and not in the truck, hiding behind a log. He calls out saying all he wants is his gold, and that he's a harmless leprechaun. He's not far off. We're at the hour mark when we are still only at 3 kills. They decide to make a break for the house, but the leprechaun is right behind them. But they make it, and the leprechaun's hand gets cut in the door, and as it slams shut, it severs his hand. It crawls up the door, Evil Dead 2 style, and opens the door and crawls back to its master. A cool looking effect. Master. Barricaded inside, they try to figure out what to do next. They can't call for help because the phone is dead, but Jennifer remembers her portable phone in her purse. She calls the police on her phone, but just as she finishes telling them to send help, the battery dies. And maybe they will be next? But she's confident they'll send help. But the sheriff radios the nearest deputy, which happens to be the one the leprechaun butchered earlier, and the leprechaun is mimicking his voice too. It doesn't look like help is coming anytime soon. Oh, so Mel Blanc has nothing on the leprechaun. Add impersonating a police officer to the Lep's list of charges now. Back at the house, Jennifer is patching up Ozzy's ear. He thinks the leprechaun made a boot out of it, despite the fact that his ear is still attached and it only got bit. Nathan asks where the police are. Wait, didn't he say that toward the end of April Fool's Day too? Maybe. Oh well, they should have been here by now. Jennifer is in denial that's the leprechaun. Well, it sure isn't Joey. Oh, Joey. Then Ozzy spills the beans about the gold they found, and Jennifer drags the rest out of Alex about how they were going to use it to get an operation to fix Ozzy's brain. She responds that you can't fix Ozzy's brain. Not with that attitude, you can't. She asks him to tell her about the gold. And rather than sit through more repeated exposition, we swoosh cut again, swoosh, to her being completely filled in and ready to retrieve the gold from the hiding spot in Chekhov's well and give it back to the leprechaun so he will leave them alone and the movie will be over. Since Nathan is too hurt to go, he gives her the shotgun, telling her to cock it, aim it, and pull the trigger. I have a feeling that this isn't the first thing she's cocked. She cautiously heads outside to Chekhov's well and turns the crank to raise the bucket. I have a feeling that isn't the first crank she's turned either.
Oh, boy.
And in the bucket, she finds the bag of gold, and out of nowhere, the leprechaun materializes behind her and wants his gold. He lets her know that he's a leprechaun. I'm the leprechaun, Jennifer Aniston. Can I come over and hang out with Joey and all the other friends? She hands it over, and just like that, the leprechaun...
Boo. I'm pressing
There's no boo button.
I'm pressing my boo button.
Okay, you can press your boo button. She hands it over, and just like that, the leprechaun uses a green glow to levitate the bag to him, stating that his powers are returning. About time. I've been waiting for more advanced leprechaun magic mayhem for a while now. Excited, he pulls her down so he can give her a kiss on the cheek, then she runs away back into the house while he gleefully counts his gold. Jennifer tells the gang that it's over. Well, I guess check please then. Wait, there's still 25 minutes left? But as the leprechaun counts his gold, he finds that he only has 99 instead of 100 gold coins, and is pissed that he's been tricked. No one takes a leprechaun's gold. It seems that everyone has been taking your gold, buddy. Also, how are you so certain that they have the missing piece? I know he kind of has like weird gold radar powers to track it down, but it's not like really
Goldar.
Explicit. Goldar. Back inside.
Not to be confused with the Power Rangers.
Very true. Back inside, Alex goes to get some ice for the wounded, but when he opens the fridge, he is greeted by a Tempo magazine sticker and the leprechaun, and we get some hot little person on little person action as the leprechaun wrestles him to the ground. He wants his gold coin! The gang manages to throw him off of Alex, with the leprechaun landing against the stove and his hand right on the red hot burner, and then he uses a spatula to pry his hand off of the burner. Did they steal that bit from Army of Darkness? There's a scene in Army
Or
of Darkness.
Stripes?
Well,
or UHF? Did they get it at Special City?
No. Well, in Army of Darkness, Bruce Campbell's face gets stuck to a hot stove and he uses a spatula to pry it off a year earlier. So maybe they ripped it off. The leprechaun runs and hides in the cabinets.
That came out in 1992?
Yeah, and this came out in 1993.
And this was filmed in 1991, though. Fun fact.
Yeah, well, when was Army of Darkness filmed?
I don't know.
Who ripped off who? I think the leprechaun ripped it off, though. There's some more rip-offs coming up. The Leprechaun runs and hides in the cabinets, and then proceeds to play a Scooby-Doo style act of popping out and taunting the gang from different cabinet doors as they open each to look for him. But after opening all the cabinets, the Leprechaun hand comes out from a drawer and grabs Nathan by the balls. Whoa, that's a low blow. See, that's how you know he's bad, because he went for the balls. That's make your bad guy badder 101 right there. Good guys would never go for the dick. But before Nathan could give him a fistful of boomstick for grabbing his gun, he teleports behind them and then disappears again, running off POV style saying, "You can never catch a leprechaun." This entire story would have never happened if he hadn't gotten caught in the first place by O'Grady, so he's lying again. But the leprechaun has disappeared again. As they split up and look for him, we hear a ho 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 from the chimney, and isn't Santa Claus who drops down in the fireplace, but the leprechaun. Also, it's ha ha ha, not ho ho ho. Didn't you learn anything from Harry and Christmas Evil?
Oh boy.
But the leprechaun eats shotgun pellets for his audacity and openly taunting them. And the gang think they've got him, and Nathan goes in for a closer look. But just as they are confident it's time to say check please, the leprechaun pops up back to life with a Tempo magazine stinger and runs off again, so the hunt continues. While in a hallway, Jennifer and Nathan hear a strange noise and turn around to see the leprechaun strolling by at the other end on a skateboard, shooting and missing him each time as he passes by, and he does a different pose every time. It's kind of funny. Eventually being left with just an empty skateboard rolling into the shot. They try to follow the noises as they hear him in the basement running around and think he went outside after hearing a basement window break and the noises cease. However, when Nathan leans down to the floor to see if he can hear anything, the leprechaun busts through the floor, but Nathan blasts him again, causing him to fall backwards and tumble down the stairs back into the basement. Then the phone rings, and Jennifer runs over and answers, asking for the person on the other end to help them. But it's the leprechaun on the other end, and he wants the rest of his gold. Jennifer rips the phone off the wall and tosses it to the ground, but it rings again, despite the phone being off the hook and disconnected and the line being ripped. Like an idiot, Jennifer picks it up, and the leprechaun asks her, "Having problems? Need a hand?" And a little hand comes through the phone. Did they just rip off the entire phone gag from A Nightmare on Elm Street? They sure did. What else can they rip off in this movie? 100% that's a ripoff. That entire scene happens with Heather Langenkamp, Nancy, in A Nightmare on Elm Street. Only instead of a hand, it's Freddy's mouth appears on the phone and the tongue sticks out and licks her. We'll have to talk about that someday when we'll get around to watching it, people, and reviewing it. They don't understand why he won't leave them alone, but then Ozzy comes to the realization that he wants the last piece of gold that is in his stomach. But the gang stop him from going outside to sacrifice himself and vow to find another way to stop him. Yeah, if he goes and sacrifices himself now, how is he going to be the only one that reappears in the 7th sequel to this film?
Spoiler alert.
Then Ozzy remembers that old man O'Grady used to tell him stories about leprechauns and fairies when he was a kid, and he might know how to stop him, especially since he was in a crate in his house, rationalizing that O'Grady probably put him in it. Wait, this guy didn't die in the opening scene? Well, I guess I didn't write a kill count for him, so it checks out. Coincidentally, he had a stroke about 10 years ago, and is now in a rest home at the other end of town, so they decide they were going to take the Jeep there. But they need to escape from the leprechaun first, so they gather up a bunch of shoes. Also, why did they try the Jeep the first time around instead of using the pickup truck that has trouble starting? We'll never know. So as they approach the Jeep, the leprechaun pops up, and they start tossing shoes and boots all over it, and he just has to shine them all, or else he isn't a good shoemaker. He's got to shine them all, like Pokemon. He's got to shine them all. Shine them, gotta shine them all. Gotta shine them all, leprechaun. This distracts him long enough for her to drive away, while the rest retreat back inside the barricaded house. But the leprechaun teleports onto the rear of the Jeep, hitching a ride while on roller skates. Kind of like the skateboard scene in Back to the Future. Jeez, this thing does rip off everything. But as she takes a turn, the leprechaun loses his grip and skates uncontrollably toward a fence and crashes through it, leaving a Looney Tunes-style leprechaun-shaped hole in the fence. Clearly a horror comedy. Jennifer arrives at a rest home, but parks in the handicap spot. What the fuck, Jennifer? You have no respect for the law here? Park in a regular spot and leave that for all the handicapped people that are coming here in the wee hours of the morning and midnight to visit the old folks' home.
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
That's right. Inside, we get some Tarantino cam of her sneakers as she sneaks up to the sleeping security guard's desk and conveniently finds a clipboard with a large handwritten title of room numbers on it so she can figure out what room O'Grady is in. She starts to walk down the nursing home hallway as the creepy music kicks in, and it becomes Evil Dead for a moment with Dutch angles and the camera constantly tilting. It's a cool scene, but this is really the only time the movie does anything like this, like clever with its cinematography. It's not a badly shot film, but it's nothing like that's meant to wow your socks off, you know? So it's a little jarring that there's a kind of a creepy scene like this in there. She is greeted by a Tempo magazine stinger when she sees a shadow cast by what appears to be a leprechaun. Also, behind her, there must be an Argento film being filmed in another room as some Suspiria lighting is shining through the door's windows. But it's not the Leprechaun, and just the shadow of some brooms and mops in a closet that just so happen to have a pair of rubber gloves like sitting perfectly on them, representing the hands. And like, who puts a pair of gloves just like right on these? Like, if you look at it, like they're just like kind of sticking on these mops and brooms, like in the middle of the handles. I'm like, who specifically sets them up like that?
A bored janitor.
It's so weird. She continues on, past some more Evil Dead camera angles, eventually reaching O'Grady's room, finding him facing away from her in his wheelchair. She tells him the leprechaun has gotten out of its crate, and she asks him how to stop it, but he's not going to tell her, because he's the leprechaun! Garth, I'm the leprechaun! I want me gold! She runs away screaming and being chased by a wheelchairing, sped-up footage leprechaun. She makes her way to the elevator, and it opens just in time for her to escape the leprechaun as he runs into the door accompanied by stock car crash sound effects. But a Tempo magazine stinger bursts through the top of the elevator, and it's Old Man O'Grady, and he's a bloody mess and all tangled in the wires from the lighting and stuff. He tells her it's too late for him, but she has to kill the leprechaun, and tells her she needs to find a 4-leaf clover. And when you know it, he just so happens to have a clover patch at his farm behind the Chekhov's well. All you do is touch him with it, and you can blast him away and kill him. And just as he finishes his exposition dump, he becomes kill number 4. O'Grady dodged death 10 years before, but this time around he is no more. No time to dwell on that though, as Jennifer speeds home with the leprechaun in pursuit, still on that wheelchair. She arrives and there is now a patch of brightly green lit clovers a short distance from the well, although she runs over part of it. Well, if that part had the 4-leaf clover, now you trampled it and it's ruined. And then she gets out and she starts walking all over it. Oh man, Jennifer, you are screwing up royally here. She starts picking through the patch, but the POV cam slowly approaches and brings with it a Tempo magazine stinger as the leprechaun grabs her arm. She runs away, tripping, and stumbles in good slasher chase scene etiquette, and eventually happens upon a police cruiser. The music becomes uplifting here, but we aren't fooled because we already know that this guy is dead. She gets in the cruiser anyways, for some reason, only to find a Tempo magazine stinger on the dead cop. The leprechaun catches up. I want me gold! But she plunges the nightstick into his eye. He snaps it off, leaving part of the stick in his green goo-covered eye as a cool effect, and then rips the cruiser's door straight off the hinges. Geez, he must have been hit in the gym. Maybe he's the Incredible Hulk. He is green. He's like the Incredible Hulk's little... You think they're related? Is this International House of Horror universe lore now?
No.
He's like Lou Ferrigno's cousin?
No.
No? Okay. Moving on.
Hard no.
Inside, he rips the eye out of the dead cop's face and replaces it with it, commenting, "An eye for an eye, my dear." Where did all these awesome special effects come from all of a sudden? Like, this hasn't been like a super special effects laden film except for like the leprechaun's makeup and stuff, which looks good, of course. Mm-hmm. But all this stuff just comes out of nowhere. It looks really good.
They blew it all in the end.
Yeah, they did. They saved it all for the last 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when did this become a Lucio Fulci film with all the eye violence? Did he walk onto set and guest direct this scene all of a sudden?
Every body part is somebody's niche.
Yeah.
Like shoes and
Tarantino
eyes.
with his feet, Fulci with the eyes. Who's into hands, though? We gotta figure out who's into. Maybe it's the director of The Hand. We'll never know.
Excuse me.
Before he can attack Jennifer, he's blasted out of the car by the shotgun as Nathan and the gang come to the rescue. She brings them up to speed and lets them know that they need a 4-leaf clover, so they all head back to the patch and start looking. Meanwhile, Alex retrieves the bear trap and heads into the barn to set a trap for the leprechaun. But little does he know, the leprechaun is the one setting a trap for him as he watches him in the rafters. Back at the clover patch, Jennifer is ready to give up, saying that they are never going to find one. But Ozzy says, you just got to believe. Yeah, Jennifer, you got to believe. Heart of the cards, like Yu-Gi-Oh! She tears into poor Ozzy, though, but he insists you have to believe, so she says, fine, she believes, although I'm not too convinced, and she grabs a handful of clovers. And when you know it, her hand glows as light shines on it because she has randomly found a 4-leaf clover. Back in the barn, Alex is grabbed and attacked by the leprechaun as he tries to put his head in the bear trap. The gang arrives and Ozzy tells the leprechaun that he's the one he wants because he has the last gold coin in his stomach. Ozzy runs away and the leprechaun gives chase. However, Nathan tries to shoot, but the gun jams on him, or isn't loaded, and he goes to reload. As the leprechaun passes, he asks, how's your leg? And kicks him in his wounded shin as he passes. This little bit is hilarious. It's just kind of like off the cuff and just like a quick little quip, but it's really funny. Just, how's your leg? And he kicks it. But he didn't rhyme, though. He didn't follow it up with a rhyme. What a ripoff. Alex takes the 4-leaf clover from Jennifer and runs off after them, while the leprechaun has caught up with Ozzy and tackled him into the ground, and proceeds to cut his face with his belt buckle? Not my first choice, but I guess it works. Also, how is that going to get the gold coin out of his stomach? Like, shouldn't he be trying to cut through his stomach or something to rip out the coin or something? Anyways, neither here nor there. And Alex comes, and he takes the 4-leaf clover and attaches it to a wad of chewing gum. Has this kid been like chewing gum the whole time? Is this like a callback that I didn't see like he chewed gum early on? Or does it, it's just convenient like he has this? Because a lot of times they'll throw in little stuff like that you don't really catch, but then later on it matters.
I don't know.
Kind of like Chekhov's well coming up here. So he takes it, he attaches it to a wad of chewing gum, and he calls out to the Lep to get his attention and tells him, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms," and uses his slingshot to shoot the clover down the leprechaun's throat. Yeah, fuck you, Lucky Charms, for pulling your product placement in this movie. Also, just like the Death Star torpedo shot, this shot was 1 in a million getting it down the throat. I mean, I'm sure he probably just needed to get it to stick to the leprechaun so he could have hit him anywhere, but he just perfectly shoots it down his throat like Luke Skywalker blowing up the Death Star. The leprechaun stumbles back as the music climaxes, and his insides begin to rumble, and green goo starts to burst out of his melting flesh. Another very cool effect. Like I said, they saved everything for the end of this movie. Followed by a bunch of green swirling after effects going around him, and some purple electricity on his body glowing. And then he falls backwards into Chekhov's well, with more green light bursting and shooting up from the well. The gang's heartwarming ending is interrupted as the creepy leprechaun skeleton pokes up from the well. He still wants his gold, although now his voice is all distorted because he's still heavily melted. But Nathan runs over and rifle butts him in the face back into the well, then pours gasoline down into it, lights a match, and blows Chekhov's well sky high, engulfing it in flames. Well, I'm sure the leprechaun isn't coming back from that. Huh? Oh wait, there's 7 more sequels? Oh boy. Then morning arrives. The cops finally show up. And hey, Jennifer's dad is back after all this time in a brief, very far away scene, and you see them embrace. I guess the Full Moon Features logo isn't out anymore since it's daytime. His were-lep transformation must be over, and all the main characters survive. Kind of unusual for a horror movie. The only people that died were kind of like side characters. But we get one last shot of the burning well for a swerve ending that won't matter for 7 sequels, with the voice of the leprechaun proclaiming, "I'll not rest until I have my gold. Curse this well that me soul shall dwell, till I find me magic that breaks me spell." More like he won't rest until the profit from this franchise runs out. And that's the end of Leprechaun, and we fade to black and roll credits. So, Perry, you got fun facts for us on some Leprechaun before we take our last bite?
Oh, yeah. So it took 3 hours to apply the makeup to Warwick Davis.
I believe that. It's a time-consuming process
and
getting makeup.
40 minutes to take it off. Yeah, I actually read up. He did have a couple stunt devils. The one with the bear trap scene, it was Deep Roy. You might know him as the Oompa Loompa from the recent Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The reason for this, though, is he did try to do as much of his stunts, but during the production of this movie, he had a lung infection.
Okay.
Warwick. So the 4-leaf clover that Jennifer finds is actually not really a 4-leaf clover. It's a 3-leaf clover with the 4-leaf glued on.
Yeah, they're actually pretty hard to find. I don't know if you know the statistical probability of finding one. I know it's listed somewhere. I don't know if you wrote it down or not.
The hospital in the movie, I think where the dad goes, that's the same hospital in Halloween 3.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So as you notice in the movie,
So this movie isn't in North Dakota? It takes place in Santa Mira, California?
I guess so.
Oh, wait. No, that hospital is just outside of Santa Mira, just like the gas station, which is in Shit City, which means this movie takes place in Shit City, just like New Year's Evil.
Yes.
It all ties together.
So the leprechaun doesn't have a name. So originally they wanted his name to be Basil.
Okay.
In the comic book, his name is
Lubden. Yes.
Lubden.
Then that's kind of been his official name.
Yeah.
That is never spoken in the films, but is like the canonical name. Yeah, I've heard that.
What was your body count at?
There's only 4.
Yep, that's right.
Did they count the leprechaun dying?
I didn't say.
Exactly, which is why I don't count the killer, even if he's human.
At the end credits, there was 2 special thanks. Not giving, thanks.
Yeah,
given
special
to people.
thanks. Okay.
George Lucas was one because
I do remember that. Yes,
at the time, Warwick Davis is still under contract to Lucasfilm
because he plays most famously Ewok
or
Wicket the Ewok.
Yeah, Wicket. Warwick.
I think he's
Wicket.
I think he's specifically
he's
Wicket.
an Ewok. Yeah. Also to Dan Quill because he sped up working visa for Davis, he's actually British citizen.
Yes, there you go.
Let's see what else we got here.
Very nice of Dan.
The budget was like around $1 million. It made in the box office $8.6 million.
Reasonable return.
Rotten Tomatoes, the critic census is 27%. Audience is
a highly rated
32%. This was the first film by the Trimark Film Company.
That is correct. I do remember hearing that.
And I think that's all I got for some facts.
All right. Well, with that, it's time to take the last bite. I'm not going to tell you that Leprechaun is a great film. The music is very generic and typical of your average slasher film. Our cast of main characters never truly feel as though they are in any real danger of dying. They're kind of saved by plot armor. The cinematography is passable, but doesn't do anything that is going to wow you, save for a few scenes in the nursing home. Plus, it doesn't really take full advantage of the Leprechaun theme, which I feel the next couple of sequels do better. Outside of the 4-leaf clover and pot of gold gimmicks and a few Lucky Charms references, the killer is easily substitutable, with the Leprechaun's powers not coming to full effect until he gets his gold back in the last half hour of the runtime. However, Leprechaun does have its moments, with Warwick Davis stealing the show with his funny and entertaining performance as the titular villain. The rest of the cast gives a solid performance as well, with the lovable oaf Ozzy, the street-smart kid Alex, and Ken Alant's mature, handsome leading man Nathan. For one of her first roles, Jennifer Aniston's acting is a little weak as the bitchy girl in the first half, but I feel she gives a better performance as the film goes on, kind of becoming like the tough final girl. While not overly special effects heavy for the first hour, and much of that being kind of hokey stuff, the effects in the last 30 minutes of climax are really impressive and surprisingly gooey given what we saw in the first hour. And the makeup work on the Leprechaun is great as well. Overall, this is a fun, but not great film. There are certainly better cult classics out there, but this is still enjoyable enough and is a perfect rewatch as part of a Leprechaun movie marathon with some of the better sequels. You can skip a few of the worst sequels on St. Patrick's Day. My overall rating for Leprechaun is 3 pancakes. A solid entry, if not fantastic for a film. And with that,
Okay.
Scary Perry, it's time for you to take the last bite.
All right. So, like you said, this movie is really not like a horror movie.
It's definitely a horror comedy.
It has bits. This movie, I would let, if I had a 10-year-old child watch this movie.
It's very...
It's rated R, and it's just like, it seems to have this PG-13-esque to it. So yes, Warwick Davis's performance is great. And also the makeup is good. The special effects there, and some of the later special effects that got better in the end of the movie. And his I mean, they pretty much gave him free reign, and he took advantage of that. As far as the other actors and actresses, they weren't that good. Jennifer Aniston, to me, I don't even think she got better. She got better acting.
When I was watching from my notes, she seemed better in the like I said, the last part of the movie as opposed to the first part.
Maybe a bit. It's just okay. Yeah, the music, like I said at the beginning, had like something. It was weird. But then there's country music later, which is shit. So
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to talk about that song as they're driving. When they're driving by, it's like this lucky 4-leaf country song, like about talking about luck and 4-leaf clovers and stuff. It's a little bit out of place.
So this is a real thing. Where do you separate this? Like, do you separate this into a horror movie, into a comedy? Because a horror movie, like,
it's a horror comedy.
It's not horror comedy. It's lots of comedy.
Have you not seen?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, we've seen horror comedies. We've seen Hobgoblins, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a horror comedy. No, I didn't like that movie. This, I don't know if it gets better in later episodes, but just to me, this movie was flat. Like, it started getting boring after a while with all the jokes and stuff. Like I was reading some critics, and not that I listen to critics, but this kind of made sense. Like, they're paraphrasing. They said it's not dumb enough to be funny.
Yeah.
It's just like, and it's not scary. It's not a horror movie. It is a horror movie, but so with that said, I would maybe like to watch the other ones, and they could possibly get better. Hopefully, I don't know.
They're all horror comedies.
Yeah, I understand, but maybe they can get better. I don't. It just seemed cheesy. This seemed like a cheesy, television movie.
I think they knew what they were making.
I know, but it just seemed like a cheesy television movie, and I guess the budget would reflect that. But just for me, in my opinion, I didn't like it, so I'm gonna give it the same as I gave Hobgoblins. This movie gets 1.5 stars. I do not recommend watching it again.
I think it's okay.
It
does have some charm.
1.5. Excuse me, 1.5 cannolis out of 5.
I gotcha. I can understand that, but I don't think it's that terrible. It's just okay.
Let's put it this way:
it's fun.
It's worse than
fine
Chud.
And fun to borrow a line from another podcast.
It's worse
that I
than
listen
Chud.
To. I wouldn't say it's worse than Chud. This is better than Chud.
Well, that's why we do this.
I mean, I'm not going to fall on the sword for Leprechaun, but I mean, it's better than Chud. It's still entertaining. Warwick Davis is
I know
fun.
It's a bit of a cult classic, and it's because of Jennifer Aniston fame. Later fame, not the fame. She wasn't outstanding in this
and
movie.
all the sequels they made.
Yeah, but she was only on.
I understand that, but-
None other ones. She was only in this one, right?
correct,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's because of Friends. That's why. Oh, so Friends. Oh, she was in this movie.
Well, that's not
we'll
the-
go back and watch
I don't
this
think
movie.
that's why Leprechaun 2 got greenlit.
No.
Because I think that, I don't know when
they
Friends
made a
started,
decent
but-
budget. I mean, I guess for what they spent. I don't know. I just not my cup of tea.
Like I said, I think the
No
sequels get a little bit better,
Pun
and then
or
they
whatever
drop
it's
off the face of the earth again. But we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah,
You got anything else before we wrap it up here?
I'm the leprechaun.
Garth, I'm the Leprechaun.
No, that's it. That's it for me.
So that's our review of Leprechaun, and that's it for this episode. As always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to us on social media. I'm at the Mad Pancaker on everything, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Perry is at Perry Scary on Facebook. Be sure to check out the website, themadpancaker.com. Be sure to check out the Patreon if you're in a position to help with the podcast. We appreciate helping make our low-budget podcast not so low budget at patreon.com/themadpancaker. Join us next time. So, next up is April. We reviewed April Fool's Day already, and I'm not quite ready to review the April Fool's Day remake. So instead, we're going to review another movie that was going to be called April Fool's Day.
Oh.
So join us next time when we review that. So until next time, check please.
Doors!
The International House of Horror.